making history at the ECAC. And there it is! Both platforms online, and Dick will take it home.
What a game.
Take a victory lap, take a bow, and take the headsets off and start to yell.
Cycling through, back to Blizzaga. Oh, pulled the counter twice out, but not gonna find it, and run off Shadow Ball will do the trick. At 0 is all of a sudden up to 78%, make it 90. Another roller doesn't find the mark this time, but a dash attack and forward tilt will only find shield.
Ooh, and now that might just be game. No strong hit, but pop him off the top with the sneakers.
Luddite very aware, I think, of what X-Wing wants to do. Is that's going to be no tech in that situation, and that means that stock is gone. Gray, another string of back airs, and that one will be shut down. They will be able to get back to the ledge, but that's going to be another mistake. The jump, the up B, and it's not enough. Rinse, repeat from the second.
It looks like we have, was that a kill, a disconnect? Whatever's happening here. On Solo Burger is just tearing right through them. 3 kill, oh my goodness. They still have so much left to work through. A nice weapon upgrade here. Raze is gonna throw it right back into their face. Look how far Kira's pushed up. Oh, they'd be able to, whoa. Joe! This is just what we needed to see from Brooklyn.
But I was going to say, Handy Crackers in the offensive attack, he had such a good size up on that one, but got denied by the defense of Merrimack.
I mean, this is a player that's been peak at 2200.
You know, someone keeps on stealing it, just doing hot laps at this point in time. But regardless of the fact, 15 seconds left here in game number 2. Breakaway chance right here for Bagels. He's going to put this one in.
Hammy Cracker's going up high in the sky, gets the flip reset. Looks like a musty there from the sky. Losan going for a double. This is their GC1. Looked like he had a triple tap.
So much more aggressive on the offensive end. When you have an offensive push like that, you cannot afford to just leave somebody just wide open.
Oh
2 back-to-back misses.
On their feet, sound barrier in play. They want to push on up, but this is just the moment that Kane was waiting for. More specifically, Leon, that has that's the rampage, or excuse me, that's the annihilation. Nobody in the way to stop this one. That's both supports and still hunting for more. Pushing toward the spawns, couple of meters. Ohio Northern scrambling out to get a last-second touch. I'm sure this is a nice, clean fight that they have the potential of winning. That's 1, 2, 3 ultimates. Now popped on in. Wonderful Suzu keeping Loath alive. And Ohio Northern managed to wipe Kane once again. This thrown on out, last-ditch effort. These must land into somebody to his both supports. Now, when we thought Ohio Northern, they're not done digging, they have struck gold. That's both supports out of the picture. Millions returning on their signature Doomfist. It's another brawl towards the end. At the end of the day, though, Ohio Northern, their spawns are closer, and they have managed to push them off of the payload jag. We are not done just yet. Ohio Northern are pushing the series to a map 5. This very well could be the last fight to stop this momentum that has been pushing them back. We want to drown the hopes of Ohio Northern here and now to shut it all down. The Matrix, one last attempt from Odie to put the momentum on adapter, yet it is not enough. We saw the signs of hope. Ohio North.
They try and play on the dark cover and the drone as well, but with the paranoia in the face and the location reveal, that's easy pickings for Super Z, and they are acting as the duelist for the team this round, clearing out every angle here and even addressing into heaven to add kind of tiles aggression from the Chamber and the Reyna. Maybe they'll be able to divide their forces more evenly. Every player here getting their frag except Derp, who's able to strike back on the Mother Shiloh. But that is over. Max left in the 1v4.
Really is. Now concurrent into 3 flashes blown and both summoner spells taken down, or they're going to face each other again.
Wow, Jerry X went in really valuing that early CS count and that early stack. Gets first blooded, but on the other side, 1 against 3. Amir Shi is able to get onto T1 Faker. And now the TP, here comes Rockstrike. Stolen! Oh my goodness, he swiped it. Yarbrough on a one-way trip, but it's going to delay the inevitable here as he grabs the...
Welcome here, everyone. We're excited to get this Friday night further underway, as we did have Overwatch 2 earlier on that did complete fantastic matches there. But it's time for good old League of Legends. I'm excited to be here with the ECAC Super Elite Division as we are into week number 5, and we're going to see some teams battle for their playoff lives on the line. My name is Orbital. With me is, of course, Sofchan, and we will be your casters this evening. Sofchan, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing amazing. You said it yourself, Orbital. It's the line that we are looking here, because some of these teams could get dropped down of that top 4 and potentially get eliminated from playoffs.
That's the scary part about it right now. We do have the St. Clair Saints going up against Pace Lol Gold at St. Clair Saints Academy roster, I believe. I want to make sure I get that one right. We are looking forward to this matchup. Now, right now, the St. Clair Saints Academy roster is looking at a 1-3 record, and if they don't win here, I believe they are pretty much locked out of playoffs here, as there's only 2 more weeks in the season. Of course, on the other side, Pace Lol Gold sitting at a very solid 3-1, challenging for the top 3 positions. I mean, this on paper should be pretty straightforward. At the same time, I know the St. Clair Saints, they can be very interesting.
It's true, and they have such a great program right at St. Clair Saints. So considering Academy have the main team to look up to, and how the coaching staff, everybody that is supporting them, can guarantee that they at least have a fair shot in this match today, because as you said, they could get dropped down, but Pace Low Gold is just feeling so comfortable on 3-1. could maybe, with a very slight margin, get dropped down if one of the other teams, such as Fisher College or GWU Revolutionaries, on 2 wins, 1 loss, or 2 wins and 2 losses for both of these teams, could be the one thing to maybe threaten Pace Low Gold. But still, I agree with you. I think with a 3-1 record, things are looking very good for them.
And I mean, the teams want to get underway as soon as possible as well. I know that the players are here, but let's go ahead and go over them ever so slightly. It is going to be XSZ in the top side for Pace, and then Lee Sin, yes, that is Lee Sin, in the jungle role. EEQA, which I will call Ika, in the mid lane, and then I come back to win in the ADC role, and then Rudy at support for Pace.
Yeah, again, St. Clair Saints Academy with Solitary Skill on the top side, Gojo in the jungle, Codito TTV in the mid lane with BNZ as ADC and John 1 as support. And we have a couple of things that we noticed looking at those OPGGs, right, Orbital? Some of these players just really going for the same sort of champion. I'm looking at you, Gojo, on 128 games on
Yeah, there's some interesting. I got to talk to the Pace, I believe, manager or coach. I know it was manager, I believe, the point of contact, and they were saying that yeah, Pace likes to draft really interesting, and that's what keeps them at the top right now. You can go ahead and see, the Kane and the Echo currently banned away against St. Clair. They also have some interesting champ pools, but the Graves and the Xin Zhao now all heavily targeted in the jungle roles. Lee Sin and Gojo both will not get their favorable matchups. Of course, Lee Sin is available if you so wish, but now we're focusing on that top side. Pace taking out a lot of priority power picks, which leaves a lot of jungle, mid, ADC, and support power picks available.
It's true, and I think this is very interesting as well because we're looking at both of these junglers, Gojo on the Grandmaster 416 LP rank and versus Lee Sin currently on Diamond 3. So high level that it's understandable that Pace is going to be targeting against St. Clair. Now Pace locking in a Twisted Flame most likely going to that top side with the AD build. What do you think of that?
I mean, it can be flex. I mean, it's not always in topside. We've seen it in the ADC role as well as a mid. It's still very strong. However, I believe it got touched a little bit. I think they dropped the attack speed that was available, so it's a little bit lower. It's still very powerful, but it does take time to ramp up. It's a good flex right now. That's the main thing. Of course, St. Clair, they do have to take away that Lee Sin. You don't want to give it over to Lee Sin and can still provide a lot of power through the early to mid. But they are also going to lock in the Maokai, which now draws multiple pieces of information. This is a go-in squad. It wouldn't be bad to look at a Poppy or a Talia maybe if you want to round it out. Karma, though, still heavy priority power picks for the side of Pace.
I really like it, and I agree with you. Those could have been great choices for either side. And now St. Clair taking away the Lee Sin from Lee Sin, so definitely something that you have to keep in mind. So that jungler out allows for the Maokai to come in more as a utilitary support, most likely for St. Clair, while Pace has a lot of aggression. You said it yourself on top lane, or either of the lanes where the Twisted Fate could be flexing.
No, don't do this. I really don't like. No, not against a Nocturne and TF. That's an easy. Oh man. Okay. So the reason I'm not happy about this, the only reason I'm not is because if Pace get ahead early, even if Smolder runs cleanse, Smolder, the whole thing is if you can access Smolder, he's pretty much dead. So that to me is just very scary. It means that St. Clair are very confident in their front line. They're very excited about this front line kind of front to back team fight, and now we get a look at that bottom lane ADC pool. St. Clair, of course, taking away the Kalista, the Draven on the other side, but I kind of like it. I'm interested to see what St. Clair can put together.
I think you do have a point, but I'm thinking that St. Clair could pull out something in the mid lane a little more protective, like an Orianna. It hasn't been banned. Sure. Of course, the Echo was taken out, so that's more of a access to the backline than more of a defending style. So not much that would influence. I don't think a Syndra would be bad. For Pace, though, I think in the mid lane, of course, Karma is still strong, but I think it could be Karma's support just to try and get that pressure onto the Smolder. As you said yourself, it needs so much to be growing and getting the scale, so it makes sense that you're looking to shut it down early. Now St. Clair Academy got that on the table, so really building a steady, incredibly steady, with rocks, with nature, with trees, everything to just block out that fortress that needs to be built on top of Smolder.
I mean, this is the way to do it. If you're going to play a scaling, you're going to go mid to late. I do appreciate it. St. Clair not waning from their style. Now taking a look in the spot side, the Aphelios is locked in. We have not seen Aphelios in quite some time. I think A+ tier is considered where it is right now in the ADC pool. I still like it. It's not bad. It can also apply a lot of pressure early to mid. You can't have the gun rotations. And then, of course, you're going to pair it with a nice engage tool. For Codito, if this is a mid lane Smolder, it'll be very interesting. If it's an ADC Smolder, we gotta see a very, very strong support pick come out here. If that's actually Maokai support, I'm gonna be very interested. I don't, if my memory serves correct, that matchup is not I think it can actually be pretty good, but man, this is a very heavy go in from St. Clair and just pray Smolder can get out alive. Yeah, the Nico locked in the mid lane.
Okay, I like it. I think there's a little bit of mobility here and there. Not, of course, as much as Otalia that you predicted. I think could have been a very good pick. But I think the Nico does a good job. You're going to at least withstand some of that damage if you try to lure in and taunt the enemies into going onto you. Your Pop Blossom, it works out well. But the side of Pace, of course, they have the Aphelios. So if we are looking at this Smolder bot with the Maokai, it's a little more passive, especially because of Smolder. But then Aphelios as well needs to be scaling. But Nautilus is not very interested in not engaging. It's usually the very heavy, I am going in because my engaged tool is just so effective every single time. There's no way and no reason why I wouldn't do it. But when we round it up with the rest of the composition orbital, they have a Nocturne, so they're waiting for their level 6. In the mid lane, things are just very smooth because the Karma is, as you said, very strong. A little tweaked down, but still very dominant. So it's funny, I would assume that Pace would go even more aggressive because of having that Smolder on the enemy side, but they're still looking to be scaling.
It is understanding that St. Clair Saints Academy have drafted a pretty mid to late game. It is going to be scaling, and as you said, they are going to force. I would even go further and say Pace are very slightly on a time limit, right? They do have scaling on their side. However, the only main tank that they are going to have is going to be that Nautilus. You know, Nocturne later on, he's still pretty squishy. Mid to late, he does a lot of damage, but he's squishy. So the thought is, if we're looking at that late game, right, if we do reach that late game, St. Clair Saints are going to be extremely happy, and that's going to be really fun to watch. On the flip, though, Pace want to end it before they reach, you know, maybe that 30-minute mark. They're like, yo, the Karma top isn't exactly going to do a whole lot of work. The TF mid, if this is AP TF, yeah, you can pump out a lot of burst damage. If this is AD TF, it's a whole different story. So many little pieces, but for me, and I want to get your thoughts on this, Sochan, the Lee Sin versus Goja, who Goja is on Lee Sin, and the Nocturne for Lee Sin. The idea is you threw so much at the ban phase there. What do you think of these two early game junglers?
Okay, so I'm thinking that, of course, the Lee Sin versus the Nocturne is going to have more early base damage, because the Nocturne relies so much on that paranoia to get those ganks going. But I understand that if they do face each other, there could be a nice rotation for Pace to have XXZ. That's what it is, right? XXZ. Yeah, there you go. XXZ going on to help as the Karma. So that is going to be very crucial because Ekka in the mid lane also has that mobility with the ulti on TF. That could really help the Nocturne not get shut down by the Lee Sin, because I think Gojo on this champion can really apply pressure and guarantee that you're going to have more vision and control over the pathing. So you can try to avoid if necessary, because early damage on the Karma, you're not going top. They're not going to do anything. The Ornn doesn't need help. Ornn is going to be alone and happy by themselves. So I think it's intriguing what they've chosen here, especially after all of those champions that were taken out. But at the end of the day, the pool gets, you know, drier and drier, and they have to pick one of those junglers that are still available in the meta.
All right, well, we'll see if that actually works out for them. Right now, we are waiting for a little bit of time, giving the players a lot of time to make sure they're ready for the game. This is game number 1 for St. Clair Saints Academy. It is do or die time. Let's see if they can pull it off. We'll go to a very short break, and we'll come right back with the main game ready and available. Please don't go anywhere. The ECAC League of Legends side of things. We'll be right back.
What a game. Take a victory lap.
And here we are ready for game number 1. As you can see, we are in week number 5 of 7. Teams have really got to get things under control for Pace. It's really just locking in that top spot. And for St. Clair Saints Academy, it is that time to go. Right now, we are getting into things. You can already see BNZ saying no worries about any CC that's going to come down. We are going to run the Ghost. And this is, like I said, a lot of confidence in this early side in your laning phase. And oh, BNZ was able to spot him out, but I think you're a little bit danger. Good flash by BNZ.
Okay, it was bold to stay there. You know you're a Smolder, you don't have much of that capability, especially on level 1. Oh, but it connects!
Oh no, this is a problem, John. You're in trouble. You don't have a way out, and that's a kill to the one lane that you don't want to give it to. I come back to win. Isn't even behind because he got first blood and then some flash out of BNZ and a kill on John.
And it's 4 kill participation as well for the side of Pace. So much gold that the Aphelios is going to feel so happy with that first extra gold. Now not needing to really scale that much as it. But now Smolder could be in a bad spot. No flash, still having that ghost, and John, who was the one who died, not wasting any of those summoner spells.
Yeah, a huge part of the Smolder side is you actually want to be dueling a little bit. You want to stack as quickly as possible, and so getting to that 225, you actually have to trade. The reason that I was a little bit worried is with this Maokai, you can trade a little bit, but you're sacrificing a lot of HP to do so. The fact that I come back to win also started with a longsword over means these trades are going to hurt a lot more if you're not careful. The fact that Rudy can easily step up as soon as level 2 is hit and dance in their face will be a problem. So we really do have to keep eyes on this and see how quickly this can change out. Of course, BNZ not really in the mid lane. Codito on this Nico is going to try their best as well.
Again, both teams having vision on the enemy junglers. Both of them starting at the top side, could be rotating for this bottom. And that's the Aphelios looking to get a freeze, but they're going in.
It's just good damage, right? Quarter to a half of the HP, and I like the fact that you pointed out the jungles were starting on the top side because that leads it to a bot lane fight, and that leads it to the Lee Sin on the Nocturne. Maybe feeling pretty good. Top side.
Oh.
Nah. X just is like, yo, okay, we're chilling. We're chilling. I'm gonna get some poke down, but I mean, really, is it that big of a worry?
No, absolutely not. But you're so right on the bot side. It was just one engage, and John was down to 25% health. Now popping out those potions, not having any left to be scoring on. And I come back to win. Aphelios. I'm just gonna call them I come back. I think that's good. I think that's easy. And they're just maintaining such good control here on the wave, freezing out as you don't want to have that much of a wave push because your jungler is still trying to get that rotation. Considering how close they are to the enemy, I would say that the Nocturne is still going to wait a little bit, try to get rest on the Scuttle Crab instead of going for a gank just yet, because there's not much of a room. Now, there is some vision there in that tri-bush on the red side, so they are keeping a good distance from that scary Lee Sin.
I mean, Lee Sin is chilling, right? This is going to be that big dance that we were talking about. Level 4 on both ends, but that's another dragon. Remember, there's no flash on BNZ, so you have to eat all this damage. Easy pickup. Gojo off on the side is actually trying to jump on Ika, who is an AP. Twisted Fate, so this could be a big challenge. However, in the bot, it's a 2-pronged attack, but Ika now realizing they're in a little bit of trouble and there's no real way out. You have that very interesting unsealed spellbook, so it just means your death. Doesn't burn the flash. Very smart.
I really like it. Oh, but Lee Sin still trying to get something here. Still level 4, flash forward.
That's a good flash, but BNZ is able to get it out for the time being. It's still the burn. One more auto attack should do it on the Maokai, and it is. Lee Sin gets out alive, and I come back to win is the real MVP here. You get all the kills that you want. You get to sacrifice, though. Rudy gets a thumbs up.
No, and even a plating to just really crown it on top. Very nicely done there by Pace. I think it was a good decision considering you know that in the mid lane, Gojo was looking for an attack, and here he is again.
Yep, X just stepped up a little bit too far, and I'm not sure if that was... I feel it was spotted, right? Gojo actually walked over a Tribrush ward, so it was spotted. So for right now, St. Clair Saints Academy, or it wasn't covered. I do apologize. So thank you for showing that to me, observers. Big shout out there. Lee Sin, though, on the bots on the top side of the map right now, saying the Kevins are going to have some trouble here. What can you do, though? 3v4. That's a good smite. Lee Sin gets one, but Gojo says now I'm in trouble because the rest of the team is here to help. That's going to be a gold guard onto the Lee Sin. Gojo has to run away with that Q. John 1 feels like they're going to be in trouble, and it is. X is able to get a retribution kill after TPing back after the death.
Oof. So let's break it down a little. It was a good rotation from Gojo, not only getting that kill in the mid lane, though they're still trying to make this one. There's no vision. The shockwave doesn't land, and then not the shockwave, the sonic wave doesn't land, and now Pace has guaranteed most likely 3 out of 3 of these early Void Grubs. But then my point, that rotation started out from St. Clair Saints Academy. You had mid lane getting a kill there onto ECAC, going out top, taking down XZ as well, but then the comeback from Pace was so good. You've noticed that because Lee Sin is at the top side, is just the easy call to go for Void Grubs. Now you send your bot lane, your mid lane, everyone to counter it down, and it worked out amazingly well. Now your bot lane, Aphelios, still doing good by themselves. Enough time for Rudy to come back and even clear out any vision around, and they're looking for a fight.
I mean, there's no summoner spells. This bot side for St. Clair Academy is not allowed to step up that far. As soon as you see comeback, just say, hey, I'm stepping up. You have to realize something's happening. You can see a 900 gold difference, which has resulted in a Noon Quiver plus some for comeback. That bot lane's over for St. Clair Saints. It feels bad to say that, right? It does feel bad to say that, but you really can't step up. You can't sit there and say, I am going to step up and try and deal some damage without jungle help. 2v2, it's gone. 2v3, maybe still doable.
maybe. And now looking at this bottom side of the map, both junglers are around. So if there is any sort of potential in going into Drake, it could be the case, but of course you have to keep in mind respawn of your jungle. Now looking at the gold as well, you said it. The Aphelios so early with the Noon Quiver just makes so much of a hard time for the Smolder they're playing against, trying to get those stacks as we talked about during draft. But now neither of the junglers are really looking to get anything going on the bot side. They want to try clear out this jungle, rotate on the next path, I would say, and even try to get something in the meantime. But Nocturne could be sneaky and try to cut that to the chase and get a shortcut down to the bot side.
I mean, you should, right? You're level 6 on a Nocturne. Level 6, level 7, level 8 are imperative to get the ults off. I always like to say, if you're not ulting by level 8, you've already lost on a Nocturne. The whole point is to have that parry and to turn out the lights ability. I think I was talking with Shibby before as well and says, hey, if you have to get value out of the first 2 paranoias that you have, if you don't, it's pretty much dead in the water is what it feels like. Dragon will be taken away, will be finished off, and that signals that BNZ and John need to stay away. Very nice fight out, BNZ playing it smart, but the wave is not in their favor.
Absolutely not. And it's just because Pace has been playing really, really well in controlling that. They knew that it was pushed enough to guarantee space for Lee Sin to take down that first Drake, but is still in a good position for them to freeze and have St. Clair Saints have to expose themselves for something to happen. So Nocturne is still on this bottom side of the map. They could try to get something going if there isn't an early recall by St. Clair Academy. But Lee Sin is also going straight through the lane to try to get some help for the little dragon.
I think it's more that you're just trying to farm, right? You can see here, I mean, they're trying to recall BNZ and John just not having a good time because that's the jump in. You know it's coming to burn the flash, and out comes the flash out of John, and now here's the turnaround. But a flash, it means John is in a dangerous spot. Here goes the blue light vigil, which is enough. The chakras are flying. It's a great fight for the side of Pace. You have all the fighting guns. You do not check it as well. BNZ goes down. It's a double. It's a triple for the Aphelios. 200 years still in the making.
Yeah, and he came back to win. There it is. It's the fist bump. There you go. And 2 more Paladins that could be taken down on 5, 0, and 0. This Aphelios is eating good today, and this is only the first game of the best of 3. But in the mid lane, it was almost a solo kill, a flash forward, but it's not enough, Orbital.
Nope, and that hurts. You can feel St. Clair Saints Academy realizing that things are vastly slipping out of control. Yes, you were able to get a kill on Codito earlier. Yes, you had a bit of value in Solitary on the top side, but it doesn't matter. Take a look at that gold difference, almost 1,000 gold. Remember what we said at the beginning. This Smolder needs a lot of help to get further ahead, and you are not getting it. All you had to do on the side of Pace is draft a strong bottom lane setup, and you've done it, right? The Aphelios and Nautilus is one of the more impressive, depending on the gun combination that comes out. You're now 1,000 gold up. You have a Kraken Slayer early on. That now means Gojo and the Maokai do not matter at all.
And if they want to do anything when we get to 15 minutes, well, it's going to be easy. 6 Void Grubs taken by Pace, allowing so much split push potential, so much siege that this team can guarantee. Now, whenever we get to a stage where we're swapping lanes, having the TF go bottom, having the bot lane go mid, this could be the first brick be taken down. We'll see which one is going to be the priority, but Gojo is invading, stealing out this jungle that is, I mean, necessary, I would say, for St. Clair, because if they can't really get the kills, you at least have to shut down something.
I mean, you're trying to shut down this mid lane for St. Clair Saints Academy, but look at that. Again, this paranoia, even though it wasn't actually used offensively, turning out the lights just scares them. Gojo and Cadito can't follow up behind it. Yes, the ultimate's down, but it's still scary. Pace playing an exceptional early game here. Good change up. Take a look at that, though. Come back just like, yo, even in a 1v2, I can be a pain in the butt.
Yeah, I don't even care. I'm going to clear now this war. Thank you very much. And one thing you said as well is not just the fact that it was... Woo! Okay, that was close. I felt a little bit of wind. I think that it's very interesting to see Paranoia being used defensively in a good way like it was there. And it also means that with a 1.5 minutes, if I'm not mistaken, when they use their ulti for the Drake, it's still enough time for you to have that reset and then come back to the Drake, fight, and keep on standing. Oh god.
Oh, this is the fight that they want. They need to try and catch it. Now I come back to win. Was able to get sniped, and that might be the dub. This is how you turn it around. However, it's a 1-for-2 trade. St. Clair Saints, the absolute fight, the goal to pull this off. 5 in the bot side is how you do it. Even though Gojo's not there, it's a big dub for the St. Clair Saints Academy roster here. Nasty stuff to try and turn it around. I come back to win, getting the shutdown stolen away.
No, it's delicious when you guarantee such a big shutdown like that in solely 12 minutes of game. It was 5-0-0 or 5-0-1 if I'm not mistaken for Aphelios, so that would be around 400 gold.
Now here's the difference. Right, this time around, Lee Sin does have their ultimate. The Paranoia is available. The current Collapse is available as well. ECA, though, in the mid lane is not really prepped for this. And Lee Sin in a little bit of trouble. You don't have Flash, but you do. Can you get out to safety? No, you can't. You're just dead. Pace give themselves up for the slaughter, and I'm not sure about that. That was a little bit questionable to go there when you knew St. Clair Saints Academy were collapsing. They're going to try and turn it around, though. This Dragon is very low already. It's already taken. Right, St. Clair Saints Academy have found an optimal spot. Now they get the King's back. It's an easy bloody kill. In comes Bomb once again. I come back to win, though, able to shred through one. Remember, Kraken Slayer is available. How much further do you want to put the front line? Is doing well. Rudy is now going to go down. And it looks like X might fall as well. Pop Blossom is now up in a bail when they catch again. St. Clair Saints, we had given up 5 in the early game, but here comes the turnaround. A claw comes out of Lee Sin. Revive, ready to fight. The fight's still ongoing, and they're going to try and chase. Solitary skill may not be as skilled to get out of this death. Slaughter from around as the Nocturne comes in, but man, did St. Clair Saints Academy come out with the biggest stuff that they needed. Early game, no worries. We coming with the mid-game fight.
Oh, they did. Now they're equalizing on 10 kills versus 11 on the map for St. Clair Saints Academy. They got the first Drake of the game for themselves, stealing it away, getting a big takedown onto Lee Sin, not allowing the enemy's might to be there on the fight. Now, when they transition that into still taking them down, it collapses to 4-0-3 for the Codito in the mid lane. Now they're looking for the Herald. Gojo could be in a space to steal.
A little bit dangerous. Gojo saying, how far do I have to go? The pull, though, forces him off, and it's just granted. I think that's a smart call again. St. Clair Saints Academy was able to get some kills, but they still need a little bit of time. Codito is extremely strong right now, 4-0-3, but you want PMC to get even stronger. That's what you're calling for. The dance out of X, though, to ensure that BNZ can't get too much is truly, truly real. And is this going to be a solo? Is this going to be solo? Is this going to be solo? Is this solo?
Yeah.
X! The Karma on the top side with Malignant solos out BNZ.
That's insane. And it was so much of a dance as well, because the Smolder was trying to get those abilities and Kama was just like, oh, nope, you can't catch his fancy feet. And BNZ even wasted that cooldown on the ulti as well, trying to guarantee the kill. Was not enough. The Karma is still very strong. As you said, the Malignance works out really well aside from the recent nerfs, but it's still a super great item. Now, first break will get taken by Pace here on the bottom side. And maybe, just maybe, they could try something on the top side with a Herald.
I think that's what they want to play for the side of Pace. They have to realize their early game advantages kind of dwindled away already, right? Even though the gold is still fairly different, take a look at where that gold has gone now, right? I come back to win, had an early game advantage, but now hasn't really got much more. You didn't get a whole lot of the shutdowns. Instead, it's actually been Lee Sin and X that have been able to pick up the gold. But remember, Karma is not exactly a mid to late. It's not super OP. It's strong, but it's not super OP. So we want to see that gold accelerated. You need to start just breaking down the base as much as possible. Get that extra gold behind. And maybe we can get some wins there. At the same time, ECAC trying to save up into the mid. That's going to be a dive underneath the topside tower. You're waiting to see how it goes down. They're going to try and break it out. However, Rudy has taken a bit too much damage, and the TP actually comes through, so now they have to run away. But that's the shot. The snipe actually lands, and it's a kill to ECA's side. Lee Sin coming in with a paranoia, saying, let's go ahead and fight. Codito is now going to fall as well. Pace say, we don't care that we messed up too. It's okay. We're still in the lead.
Oh yes, they are, and they made it so I was actually a little bit worried because they were trying to take down. Oh no, don't do not. Oh, that's such a CB-Long move. Don't do that.
Yeah.
We have been driving our cars much better recently, so well, it's not a charge. That is the shout we gave Pace on that early game pressure. Kinda denied at least half of it because they got good kills. They got to win the fights. They took down Tier 1, but that extra charge was just necessary.
And this is where things get spicy. Dragon coming up in about 48. It is Chemtech, so not the most important in the world. But this next Dragon fight, I feel, is going to determine a lot. St. Clair Saints Academy have gotten a lot of value out of their team fights, but Pace has started to fight back. They started to realize they need to group. Really, it feels like this fight could be the tipping moment to see one of the teams really break away, or we're going to see things even up for St. Clair Saints as they are currently 5k down.
Yeah, it's important to point that out because that is the damage that the Smolder is missing, even the Nico and the Gojo on Lee Sin. Could have been doing even more if that extra damage was there. Some of those initiatives to go and steal would have been more confident if they had enough damage, but that is not the case right now. Pace is pushing out this mid lane, gonna take down the Tier 1 with 6 Void Grubs. You take it in just less than 2 seconds. Rotate down for the Drake. That would be their second one, guaranteeing us that it is a Chemtech soul for this first game.
And I do appreciate it, right? The St. Clair Saints Academy, it is a squad that realized they may have gotten some free fights earlier. It got them closer, but it's not close enough. And if we could get a check on B and Z, I want to see how many stacks we're currently sitting on. I think it's probably close to around, I think 150, 160. We're still not reaching those breakpoints. Yeah, 150, 160. This is about the time that you're hoping to break through. I think you just need about like 90 more. So we'll see how that goes. For right now, though, it's just farm City waiting to see that call come down, and do we actually go for Baron? Because for Pace's side, they do want to kind of keep this pressure up. They don't want to let things kind of break out of control and maybe not take Baron, but at least tempt it. See if you can draw St. Clair Saints Academy out of their very passive role. Rudy finding Gojo, which, I mean, Gojo should be perfectly fine to get back.
Yeah. Oh yeah, just jump out to your friend and it's all good. One thing that I wanted to mention, Orbital, is how Pace, of course, they had that advantage, how they converted that into going to the top side, taking down Tier 1. Yes, but they're also getting that pressure into controlling the side lanes better. You have Hammer in the bottom side, you have top side that was also pushed, mid lane as well, if I'm not mistaken, it was ECAC. Or even comeback pushing out the lane. That is just so important to guarantee that for the biggest of objectives. Now that the Baron has spawned 15 seconds ago, you can have control over the enemy jungle. Mid lane is open. You can try to take down vision from the enemy so they're not even safe in their own area of the map. And I think that's what Pace is doing, and successfully so. So not very necessary to go for those big team fights at the moment. You want to try and get a pick off. You want to try and get something that makes a difference, either if it's going to give you turrets or map control or a new objective. At this point, SCC, they're also trying to build out that damage with getting gold on farming, but because of how much Pace has pushed in, they are still very behind just into their area of the map.
They actually started it. I called it as a joke, but they actually started. They're trying to force this, and right now I'm not sure if that's what I call. Remember, that's the lights going out, and this might actually help. Baron is still spinning on the Ornn, and now they're in a choke point. They actually decide to turn around. That could be it, but Mom is called in, so the fight is actually stalled out. St. Clair Saints Academy have done the job that they need. They stopped the Baron. They said, okay, no real problems there. But still, that was a dicey move. Now they're going to try and turn around, but that is a pop blossom, but you're just dead! Down goes the Nico. The punt is going to work for Lisa and Liz because of that. Guess who's alive? It's I come back to win, spitting out that damage. The burn is too real with the flamethrower. X going to go ahead and speed themselves up. A little bit of an empowered tether keeps them all alive. A Pace say we didn't get the Baron, but we'll at least get some kills. They're going back to it now.
Well, at least take out that vision, I'm sure. And okay, they're just waiting for Nocturne to come back. They are rushing in. John taking out vision from behind the pit, trying to get some themselves. But there's no Gojo. There's no 3 players of your squad, and SCC is just going to watch as the Baron gets taken down by Pace. And I think it's interesting what we've had. BNZ is trying to do something that was awfully close. Well done there on this Might on Lee Sin. I think it was interesting how the fight started, because I agree with you, it was a little too bold to go for the Baron orbital, but then when they tried to turn it back, SCC was like, okay, we stop and we can try to retreat. And then Rudy just smashed them on the face, and Codito, even popping the Pop Blossom, couldn't really escape. That was huge support.
The fact that Codito, I think, was even allowed to even get the Pop Blossom off, we saw it and it was like, oh, you actually drew in the Nico, that can turn it around. But that burst damage is just too high, so I do agree right now, this damage profile that's coming out of Pace is looking even better. And we saw it on the gold just there briefly, and I think it just shows in the items itself. IE and the Kraken Slayer already completed. This makes Solitary, the Ornn that we haven't really talked about much in this game, pretty much non-value, right? You are going to be able to sustain for a little bit. Yes, you had 2 items yourself, but you are going to get shredded if you stay in a fight longer than about 5 seconds. Pace have everything in place to do whatever they want to, except for ECAC, who is 3-3-5, just now finished the Rod of Ages, stacks on 10. Looks like might be the sacrificial lamb for this Dragon. However, the lights are being turned out. They're going to try and turn it around, but I mean, there's no real reason to go up there, so St. Clair Saints Academy do pick up a free kill. Now Gojo is in a little bit of trouble, running away as best they can. It's a Q out, good damage, chunked out to about 40. This mid lane, though, I think is already going to be down as I come back to win, says we will take that second tower for ourselves.
Yes, it is. It was indeed melted there by Pace, and I think although it was a free kill for St. Clair on the top side, they also don't have BNZ with an ulti, so they're going to have to concede this next Drake, getting Pace to a soul point. I don't think there's anything that St. Clair could do at this moment. It would have to be trying to stack more, get more gold to guarantee a potential steal on the actual soul next in 5 minutes from now. So St. Clair is really playing a long game, as you would expect from a Smolder. They're still keeping something together. I don't think it's that much to really feel like it's a difference. Now Pace is on 8,000 gold ahead, so things are really getting steep for St. Clair to try and come back around. And with 100% objective participation for Pace, they are not leaving any space for St. Clair to come back.
And if anything, it's just getting these kills is really what they've been missing, because this game is exploding, and that's an easy pickup again. Now they're going to red card the likes of John, and John is now going to fall. Nothing else to it. Pace make it look easy too. The bottom lane of St. Clair Saints Academy are dead. Pace next on the list.
Yeah, and taking down tier 3. And then the inhibitor now looking for the Nexus as well, Orbital. It's time for Pace to finish off this game.
I think they can give it a shot. That's going to be the Pop, Nico trying to go in with the Pop Blossom. And how much can they really get? Nothing, because Rudy is still alive, Lee Sin is still alive, and I come back to win is more than alive. Twisted Advance not going to be available as the Vines reach out, but really, what does it do? It is actually going to be enough as the rest of the team is actually spawning up. We're only at 25-minute difference, so these HP bars are not exactly great. How much further can they push? Lee Sin is out of mana, out of health, out of everything. Another collapse, though, as that's another catch. Solitary is about to burn down. The burn is just too good as 225 has been hit, but BNZ, you don't have anything. Down goes one. Look at the pop of the Moonlight Vigil. BNZ gets one kill, and it looks like Pace may have overstayed. They got the Nexus Tower, they got the inhibitor, but now I think they run out. Look at the flash and power Q. X says, down you go, BNZ. That's not your kill to get. TP coming in the back line, though. Codito gonna try and finish him off, but they're out. They're safe. Pace, yes, they lose too, but how much do they really take? It's a small consolation prize for SCC.
Yeah, it really is a small consolation. It's like they only could eat the scraps because it was almost really good having BNZ getting those executes. It was almost great as a defense attempt from Academy, but unfortunately Pace had so much of that damage, especially with the 6 Void Grubs buff, now taking down their first of the Nexus turret. Of course, if it had been just a little bit of that one, it could have been regaining as we speak, but it's not. That mid lane is open. There's only the bottom and top side. They still have the tier 2s, so there's some sort of a protection that SCC could use to try and get some flanks going, because they have champions for that, like the Nico, like the Ornn and the Lee Sin, but they're not really finding any angles because Pace is just running down the door. Knock knock, who's there? It's Pace, and we're taking out the first game from you.
It's true. They can go through the back door, the front door, whichever door they decide. It really is. It goes back to what we saw in the early game, right? It's really on Pace whether they want to win or lose, whether they walk in kind of unaccompanied or they have some problems. Right now, John going to send out that advance with the Vines, but it's not really going to do anything. Paranoia comes in and denies the entire fight. They're actually going to turn at Lee Sin, saying, I'm going to push you off right now, but big ultimates are down. BNZ not going to get caught by the hook. And right now, everyone just on this top side posturing. Lee Sin again off on the side. Gojo on the Lee Sin, not sure, but that's gonna be called. Forge got flash away, but still caught. I come back to win. He's gonna get advanced on and actually knocked back, but look at the healing again with that ability. The guns are out in front of him as well. As the Crescent is gonna be big, but the Pop Blossom is enough. Triple kill coming up from BNZ as the front line melts as quick as cinders. Gojo is gonna flash and get the kill. What did I just say? It feels like Pace is the ones to lose as they overstay their welcome, and St. Clair Saints Academy are gonna grab the kills and Baron.
Oh my word, it's something we mentioned with the Smolder. It gets to a point where it just obliterates, as you said, incinerates. It's only cinders on the side of Pace, with XXZ being the only survivor. You have 295 on that stack for Smolder. Thank you so much to our observer, Samantha. And oh my god, we were expecting this Smolder to pop off after we saw the defense in the mid lane, and they did it. Execute here, execute there, the Pop Blossom to set it up with the Ornn, and things look finally into a savable place for SCC as they've just taken the Baron.
It feels so much better for the squad, but this is the other side that they really do have to ramp up on. They have to realize this next fight could be dangerous. A Chemtech Soul is not the most empowering in the world, but it does give very nice reduction to sustain throughout a battle, right? With the Chemtech Soul, you are allowed better defenses, I believe, and tenacity underneath 50% HP, which would give Rudy, Lee Sin, and X massive, massive fight potential to extend. For SCC, I really don't think they can actually contest, and they're going to have to give it up. Again, not the worst one in the world, not terrible. It still feels really bad.
It does. Well, there is still one shot in 6 minutes if they could steal that Elder. Or maybe steal, or maybe bait out getting the Elder instead of Baron and trade both objectives. Then you would have double dragon power bot lane there for BNZ. But so far, Pace is looking to take this down.
Oh, I'm not sure how well you want to bring that fight. Solitary actually used the Ornn, which is a big way to get back in. That's the Nico cut out and denied, and again, this fight starts off a little bit wonky. However, not as much damage actually comes down this time around, but that's Pop Blossom they want. And you come back to win. How much are you going to stay alive? You don't. They got the major kill. Are you kidding me? Pace walk right back in to St. Clair Saints Academy, and they wash through again. BNZ now almost matching in the damage source. Pace give up another team fight, and now that's the TP to the top side. St. Clair Saints Academy are going to get so much out of this.
They will. They have the Baron buff, and they're going to take objective bounties here on the top side. Oh, there's another attempt.
I mean, BNZ is just on fire, right?
It's an unofficial penta.
This protect the ADC style composition is fully online now, and we did say for Pace, you had to take control of the early game, right? The early 5 kills, we really want to see a lot more, but they got caught out. Things got out of control, and they let slip in the mid. That allowed BNZ to fight back. For the first time in this game, BNZ has overtaken I Come Back to Win's gold. It is now BNZ the Smolder with a 1,000 gold lead.
And it's not just that, Orbital. It's the Smolder with 4 completed items plus the ornament upgrade. That's insane. It's the overcap that you have having a Norn in your team. And you said it yourself, this composition is protect the ADC, and there's no shame in it because it works. They got themselves into a stage where their final push for Pace, having a triple kill, almost, I believe, almost a triple, maybe a double there, delivered to BNZ, really tipped the scales. They got to defend, they bring it back, they get those team fights, and there's no objectives on the board right now, so I don't know why they're standing so aggressive against each other, but the Baron buff has expired, and SEC have gotten themselves on 100, slightly 100 gold lead.
Again, that gold lead is ballooned by the indirect gold that you get from the ornaments, but someone else that we haven't talked about is Codito, right? The only reason these fights really feel like they played out so well is because of the Pop Blossoms, that Nico has really rounded out the team composition. And again, I was a little bit worried about BNZ early on. Where's your damage going to come from? Where are you actually going to be able to fight until that Smolder is in a good spot? And even from the early game, I was a little bit worried, but Codito started off very strong. I believe 4-0, I was 3-0-2 at one point. Very, very strong situation. And Pace have got to start respecting that Nico pick a lot more. They want to take this victory right now. It is going to be a bot side push if they so wish. Everyone crowding around in the 5v5.
Yeah, they're looking to get this one, and SEC take down the tier 2. So effectively opening up the enemy forest even more than Pace have done with them. Of course, it's the mid lane that's absolutely wide open, but here the jungle is fully controlled by SEC.
They're going to go in. They're going to try and catch Codito, but Codito has that Zanya's Hourglass, and they're going to go ahead and stay alive. Now take a look at where they go. Down goes Codito. That might be the big kill, but I Come Back to Win. It's not caught. That's your big linchpin, but you are still burning down. That's the danger. The rest of the team, though, stepping up to fight. Lee Sin in the back line to fight Lee Sin and win. That Lee Sin battle, BNZ, is going to go down. Lee Sin actually dies as Gojo falls, and this is the fight Pace were wanting. They catch Codito. They don't have to worry about that Pop Blossom, and it's an ace for nothing as Pace rip back control.
And Pace is going to take down the first game of the series, getting themselves one step closer to remaining in the top 4 of Super Elite on ECAC. But Orbital, I think they finally saw that Pop Blossom and said, no, we're going to knock it down again. And that's what they did, a clean ace to win.
I'm not gonna lie, it looks spicy. It looks scary. I mean, it felt like the fights that were lost were Pace's own undoing. They got a little overconfident here and there. And here's the thing, when it comes to some of those situations, huge ups to St. Clair Saints Academy for recognizing that mistakes were happening. That is a huge part about learning to become better and better, is you have to learn how to, I want to say, take advantage. That was it. Take advantage of the mistakes made by the opponent. It's very, very important. So St. Clair Saints did what they could, but Pace just had a better lead early on.
Yeah, and one thing that Pace seems to know how to do is see a breach of opportunity and take it. They saw the door. This time, it wasn't knock knock, it was open. They saw the pop blossom and how they had been playing it on the side of SEC, and they said, okay, we predict what you do. We're going to do what we did previously with Rudy going in with the dreadline and getting that hook immediately. So even if you do use your Zhonya's, you're not going to be in a good spot for your team to be fighting. Also, I think it was a little bit of a mistake even from Sinclair's Academy to start the fight so into the jungle, where you exposed your mid laner too much and the backup was still getting there to guarantee more damage. And because it was be a dive that tier 2 was still there, it was a little more than they could chew, even though they got themselves back on gold, got themselves back onto map control. It was Pace coming out on top, but I think St. Clair really showed a great game today.
They did, and I mean, they got one more chance to go ahead and fight for game number 3. Right now, Pace are no strangers to full best-of-3 series, but they don't want to have that happen this time around. Right now, we are going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, we'll see if the door will close on St. Clair Saints Academy's chances to make it into playoffs, or we'll see a game 3 and see that hope alive. Please, don't go anywhere. We are back, and we had to take a little bit of an extended breather because that game went about 3 different directions, and none of them were forward, it felt like, until the very end because, my gosh, Pace getting off to a 5-0 lead on Aphelios and St. Clair Saints Academy pushing back hard, trying to fight their way out. Smolder going up 15-16 kills, and then Pace closing it out. I mean, Solchan, we couldn't ask for a more interesting game.
Oh yeah, I agree with you. And Orbital, it felt like Pace, especially when they got that Baron, were directly underneath those Nexus towers. They could have taken the game right there, but as you said, everything didn't feel straightforward. It was going one way. The fights were feeling, I don't know, some perturbed and sometimes just trying to choose what is going to be the angle. But finally, we had Pace coming out on top after such a great lead that they built. But kudos to St. Clair Saints Academy. They got themselves back into even gold. As you mentioned, the ADC there on Smolder, knocking people down like it's nobody's business and guaranteeing that something of a chance, something of a hope could come back for the St. Clair Academy. But how is this going to affect the next draft, I wonder?
Well, we'll have to see because St. Clair Saints Academy have opted to move to the blue side, and that's going to bring with it a whole different slew of complications for them. They have to go back to the drawing board and say, are we going to get Smolder again? Because that tends to be a very red side ban. You go ahead and ban away the Smolder, you just don't let it through. At the same time, that TF in the mid lane is another fear. That gold card at the very end was the whole reason it felt like Pace was able to win some of those fights. If you let it through, it can still be flexed into the AD position. So, same with Pace's side. What do you actually want to ban away? There are a lot of little pieces, a lot of functionalities that I myself am going to be very curious about. But the bot side, I think at the end of the day, is going to be that main point. Sofchan, do we get to see some explosive bot side action again? Are we going to see a level like 3 triple kill out of one side?
We'll see. It highly depends on those champions. As you said, things are going to be spicy on this one because many of those picks are not going to be allowed anymore. Some of them are going to be kept. And a reminder from the last draft, we had basically all junglers and I think 1 or 2 top laners in the first round of bans. So we'll see how this is going to go. One highlight I would like to give would be to Rudy on that Nautilus. Now because they are on the red side, are they going to secure it again? Are they going to go for a different sort of engage tanky support? Because they did well.
At the current moment, though, it is pretty much the exact same, right? The Kane banned away, you can't give it to Gojo. I think that's a very understandable part. The Karma, I do agree with this. X on the top side had a lot of impact in the mid to late. I wasn't expecting it myself personally, but the Karma did a lot of work. A lot of great shielding, a lot of great value out of there, so very appropriate ban. That does take away the Graves or the Cassante ban that St. Clair Saints had hung on to. At the current moment, though, Pace still saying we just want to keep it the same. There's no real change here.
Yeah, and that shows that they weren't super threatened by what happened in the previous game. But I would say that the Smolder was a very well executed pick by St. Clair's Academy. At the same time, it's a champion that can be knocked down very early in the game if you can get that happening. But Pace said, no, we know how to play against it. We know that we won, but we're not going to have any chances of that going through to BNZ.
Just got to give it away and say, okay, we'll ban it away. That did drop the Aatrox ban, so top side now, having a low bit of value, and because it's open, you might as well hover. It is a strong pick, and it's a pretty nice blind pick, right? It does take away a lot of other value pieces, especially since you banned the Cassante, which I think mid to late can actually outscale the Aatrox pretty heavily. It's very understandable. However, this is what I do like. Pace going ahead and saying, yo, the TF did work for us. ECA in the mid lane struggled in the solo lane, but in the mid to late was able to rotate out. If you do pair it with a Nocturne, which could come up here, which, I mean, I think it did a fantastic job for Lee Sin in game number 1, might as well lock in that combo again.
Oh yeah, me too. It's the point I liked the most were those defensive paranoias. You just get the lights out and you don't leave any sort of escape route for the enemy. They don't know where you are, they don't know where to go. And I think that was so seeing fights to go well, even if you didn't have that really effective gap closure coming out from Lee Sin. Sometimes it was just the teammates guaranteeing the setup for the fight, and you were just making things cozy on a little low light. But St. Clair is locking down that Sejuani plus a Rakan All right, so they have a big front line. Yeah, they have a big front line. They have good engage. To be the damage threat. We know that Aatrox can do that, but where's the range? Where's the range? Give us the range.
I don't know, because right now Pace have actually a really solid disengage style. That Rumble has always been seen as a deterrent factor. It's also a great lane bully against the Aatrox. You sit in that flame center, it's a problem, but the equalizer is the big thing. You drop this down on a team fight anywhere, and you know at least the Rakan, at least that Sejuani, at least that Aatrox are most likely going to be sitting on it. Another great ban to come out here. Gotta give credit to Codito. The reason that St. Clair Saints looked so good in that game one was because of that Nico. Really, really well played. Good ban away, in my opinion. Now opens it up for other territories. Still Kalista ban away. St. Clair Saints Academy do not want to give that one over.
Yeah, I really like the Nico ban too, Orbital, because it's not just the position and how Codito used well the champion in the early game to guarantee control over the wave. Those team fights were immaculate up until the moment that Pace said, Pace said, oh, we actually know how to counter it. So kudos to Codito to really getting the team back on track because of how the team fights were built on top of that Pop Blossom. Now to finish out, we mentioned that Rudy played incredibly well on the Nautilus, so that's going to be the final ban for St. Clair alongside that Kalista. And for Pace, they taken that Nico plus a Silas. Now we mentioned a potential tanky engage option for Rudy. There it is.
It's gonna be a nice one. The Alistar to come out here, a direct counter sometimes to that Rakan. It's still a little bit hard to hit the exact combo, I believe. You have to, because you can still get charmed out. It's a whole question. Swain to come out here. This is, I haven't seen Swain in some time, and it's automatically locked into mid lane unless you want to go APC in the bot side. I'm a little bit curious about actually where you want to put it. I haven't seen Swain in a long time, so that's why I'm like a little bit worried. But we still need a hard. Okay, I'm not thrilled at what St. Clair Saints are currently doing here. This is extremely short range. It does have a go forward composition, but I mean the damage profile is not like super great, right?
Yeah, I would have much preferred the Varus. I think a Varus would have worked incredibly well. You have your Chains of Corruption, you have the possibility, do you go one hit, do you go lethality, considering there's not much of a tanky outline. You could go on hit. All right, we were talking about come back here, come back. We were talking about very short range ADCs, and there it is, the shortest of ranges on ADCs. And we know that sometimes it's a counter on the top side, but no, the Rumble is going to be top side, and it's Alistar plus Vayne at the bottom.
Yeah, so I got to speak. I believe I asked a couple questions to Pace's side, and I was like, yo, you know, what can we expect coming out of here? You know, who do you want to watch for? Who do you want to see as kind of that mainstay question mark, right? When I got the answer, their coach, and that we should watch the draft out of Pace, I don't dislike it. It is kind of surprising the Vayne at the last pick. It makes sense because if you get ahead like you did in game number 1, Pace are going to take off, right? The Vayne is going to have so many free options, and we talked about that power that really comes out of St. Clair Saints Academy. It's not that great. Mid to late, unless the Aatrox gets super far ahead or is very, very powerful, you're not actually going to have a massive amount. You can even duel the Kalista, not Kalista, Kaisa here. There's just, I think we're gonna get a lot more of game number 1 here. I think we're gonna get a lot more of game number 1.
Yeah, Orbital, I think what Pace saw is Aatrox wanted to go in, Sejuani wanted to go in, Rakan wanted to go in, even the Swain wanted to go in, and they drafted a bot lane that can push people away. So they got the Vayne having that E, they got the headbutt onto the Alistar, they have the golden card in the mid lane for Ekka, and just so much zoning control with the Rumble, as well as Lee Sin on the knockdown. We saw how defensively they used their ultimate. So I think this makes sense with how they played last game. It's unusual, unconventional, I agree. But so is the Swain, because it's not that it's a bad champion, but at the same time, it's not being played recently because it's not on the best of places in the current meta.
It really isn't, but what it can do is slightly follow the likes of a TF, you know, the eye in the sky, that W can be pretty good for Codito to kind of figure out what's going on here. But for Pace right now, you are on pace to go ahead and take your 4th victory of the season. Moving to 4-1 would place you in the upper echelons with 2 more matches to follow. For St. Clair Saints Academy, though, they are trying their absolute best. And main thing again, not to drop early kills. That was a big part of why Pace felt like they could pick up the pace early on. I think it was a 3-0 or no. It was 4-0 at one point because Comeback was able to get first blood as well as 3 others. So for Pace, let's see if they can repeat for St. Clair Saints Academy. Let's see if they can turn things around.
The combination of dance and the Cassante emote is fantastic. Come on, TF, give us the dance. We know you dance really well. Oh, Pace, although there's this happening in the mid lane, Pace is not very entertained and is like, okay, we're gonna get a deep ward if you don't mind. Thank you very much. And that's what they did. So they know that Sejuani is starting on the red buff, and now they're going to be facing on different sides of the map.
It's just, you know, not the worst start either. And I mean, for Gojo, you do need a little bit of help. You do need to kind of see what's going down here. And I mean, for the Sejuani, you are going to be very gank heavy, right? We are not going to see that much invade. We're probably not going to see massive challenges if you are meeting with that Nocturne inside of the jungle. So we are going to have to keep eyes on that situation. Also in the mid lane, keep in mind there are some technical differences. Codito in game number 1 got a fairly high farm lead and was able to bully out the likes of ECA. This time ECA trying to do a little bit better in controlling that lane state, trying to be a bully and trying to be an absolute pain in the butt.
And they can. They can. And we saw Pace doing so good in the early game. Now they're playing it a little bit more reserved, I would say. All of the lanes are more pushed on the side of SEC, so that would indicate, yes, Lee Sin, of course, now not on the Lee Sin. Neither is Gojo on the Lee Sin. No actual champion Lee Sin on the match, only the player. So on the Nocturne, they're trying to get more of a speedy full clear on this, trying to go for power farm, guarantee the level 6 as fast as they can, because most of the lanes, aside from the top side, which to be fair, I thought that XXZ would be taking more control because of being a Rumble. Oh, okay. Getting a scout.
Is ECA actually going lethal? I just realized this is not an APTF. This is ADTF
now. Oh yeah,
now.
they changed it. You're right.
I just realized that. I was like, I wonder why ECA's actually trading auto attack patterns, because normally on AP you would do WQ and that's it. No, you're going ADT. Okay, this is... Now I'm watching. Now on the bot side, we're also seeing a little bit of a song and dance. At level 3, Rudy actually has combinations up. This is going to be an interesting match now.
And I think it's very interesting, as you said, because the TF is now AD, that leaves more space for them to be really zoning out and spacing around the fight. And that is what the composition is for Pace. They have control over how they're going to be fighting. They're going to lead the dance to allow Ika and I Come Back to be able to get that damage, but also ADTF means potential split push TF, and if Pace can guarantee 6 void grabs against, that could be huge.
Let's see what else we can do here. Right now, top side.
No vision.
It's very, very questionable. I mean, X last time also hard pushed a lot of lanes, so I understand it. And now they're actually going here, so X realizing they're in a little bit of trouble. Good flash away, good sidestep as well. Gojo not going to be able to really get much more than a final ping down. Looks like you get a little bit of chunk, but I mean, it's still a good out. You do get the flash, and you know there's no TP, so if they wish, Solitary might be able to get a cheater recall off. However, X saying, all right, let's keep staying here. Does Gojo stay? Nope. Okay, recall out.
One thing I wanted to point out as well, continuing to speak there on the ADTF, is that I think it makes more sense against the Swain. The Swain has good range. You have... Oh, just hold that thought.
Yeah, this is unfortunately going to be a kill. I mean, there's not much else you could do. Lee Sin gets a clean first blood. Worse on the back end. I don't think Lee Sin can actually get out. There is a flash available. You get over the wall, but Gojo's absolutely going to follow. There ain't anything to do because already X TP'd out. There is no value there, so Gojo is going to get Kevin's all for themselves.
Ooh, so that is a great rotation by St. Clair. Okay, bottom.
Already going in here, and that is going to be the cleanse out at plus ignite, but big win by BNZ and John. Take a look. There's nothing there. However, with the TP from the TF, it is going to follow up. A little bit of a tag, though. So, Summoner Spell's out. Flash is available on all sides, though.
Interesting. Yeah, I appreciate this because it's both teams trying to get some presence on all sides of the map. So, starting out with that gank on Lee Sin getting first blood, there's huge extra gold that you're going to guarantee your top laner. But then rotation coming out from St. Clair's Academy was spot on, because not just you guarantee that if Lee Sin would flash, you would still get the kill. You shut down the possibility of Pace getting those 6 void grabs, because now St. Clair has gotten the first 3, while Pace also said, well, some things didn't go as planned in the top side, so let's try to get more pressure here on the bottom. And because of it, Lee Sin is taking the first streak of the game.
Feels good, man. Get that Ocean going, and then an Infernal right after. Fire and Water. Feels pretty good for them. However, those are also ones that you really do wish you had as a soul instead. Feels a little bit better behind, you know, having the full regen or having the full damage, but it's not bad. Ooh! Come back. Not getting that CS like you wanted. Feels bad.
Still maintaining a fairly even. Both of the lanes don't want to go super aggressive. They don't have that much range anyway. The Rakan is just like, oh, I'll just shoot in the Q here, try to get a heal. And then Rudy's like, okay, I'll help you take the farm. And that's just about it. But Lee Sin is on level 5, so as soon as that Nocturne gets a Paranoia, it could be the place to start rotating. Both junglers are on the bottom side, but I would wager this would be a reset from them. Or at least especially from Gojo, now that he full clears the jungle. Want to get that extra gold. And next, I kind of want to see things going here on the mid lane. Both of them already on level 7.
Gosh.
Oh, what is that?
What? Alright, well, it is going to be a turnaround, as that's going to be the ult to come out here. In comes with the Paranoia to try and turn it around. Death of the ADCs is on the menu tonight, as there is no going to be a shakeup at all. Random kill on the bot side, though, as it was slightly a dive as the flashes are gone, so that gives us a little bit of a clue, but I would say big dub over to the side of coming back. Now in the mid lane, ECA in this AD form is not really going to have any value. I mean, you do not scale until mid to late. It's a good kill again by Codito.
Okay. All right, so it was a dive happening off screen while we were doing some analysis, and bold of Pace to do so just after we said, well, neither of these teams really have that much of a kill pressure, especially on neither of them on level 6. But topside, they're looking to get it. Oh, they are burning down, and the ignite guaranteed at the end. XZ with a solo kill on top of solitary skill.
Yeah, this is a part of Rumble that a lot of players, I think, just kind of struggle with. The fact that X is able to kind of rush those boots and just say, I'm going to stick to you, that's all your damage, right? Solitary did not have the speed to get out of it. And again, that equalizer didn't even come down, so big win on the top side. Bot side a little bit more even, mid lane folding to St. Clair's Saints Academy. So this is what we're kind of watching for, all these kind of breakaway moments, and how it's going to shift moving into the latter stages of these minutes. I believe in about 2 minutes we are going to see the rest of the grubs come up that St. Clair Saints Academy were able to get. Dragon as well in about 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, and although we saw that Lee Sin was trying to get that full clear and power farming, they're still a little bit behind on the rotation there compared to Gojo. And all of the other lanes are pretty much even. But we mentioned how the mid lane is nothing when we're talking about Swain. Full AP, of course, as the only build possible. Going on to that ADTF. Can't do much, but with a gank, oh, you can.
Oh, good flash out. I mean, that was going to be a kill, so Codito losing their ult and flash feels pretty good if Ika is able to kind of jump back in. Seeing those moves, we're starting to see those shakeups here. Not only that, in the mid lane, keep eyes. Gojo's ready to go. Flash by Ika should be ready, but now you're being seen. In they go, flash out. Now the charm. A little bit of a jump in with the Glacial Tomb, and it's just that easy. Glacial locks. The chains that bind us all get the kill. Now into the mid lane again. We're seeing a knock up Rudy. Hoping to get some value, and that's going to be the equalizer to burn. And it's just that easy. Rumble now going to be looking to be that star carry. Another knock up is going to land. A knock back. Enters the fray, and John is going to get a double. Lee Sin on the other side is going to run away. Gojo cannot follow up, though. So with all the death, Lee's pace a little bit better, but exceptionally an X on the top side.
And a massive amount of summoner spells used as well by both teams. And I need to highlight St. Clair's Academy for that setup. They go in, no vision on either side, trying to get their shutdown onto ECA. They got great pressure getting their mid lane there on 500 gold ahead. And 300 there for Gojo as well. You have the rotation coming from John very swiftly because that's just what a Rakan can do. They are very slippery and fast. So whenever you go in, you force out the flash. Ika was trying to predict that knock-up from Rakan but couldn't really do it. So Rakan uses the charm, followed up by the knock-up into the Glacial Prison. Into the by Cadito. It's a clean take, but Pace was also good in rotating as soon as they saw something happening, and Lee Sin escaping. I think it's the biggest of points there because you don't want to be giving all of these kills.
Solitaire really doesn't like being
Jesus.
Solitaire right now. Like, really doesn't like this. Don't even need the flash. It's just a
nasty.
chicken being burned. X has fried wings tonight. And on the bot side, it is going to be BNZ to lose their flash and roll in. As this is a full jump in 4 on the bot side. Come back, though. On the flip side, is going to lock him against the wall. The turnaround might be good. Ika coming in to help. Honestly, come back and get away. I'm not sure you actually want this, though. John has to run away. Does get the quickness hold. Look at this split, though. This is St. Clair Saints actually losing out here. TP. Solitaire heads back up to the top side. No one dies, though, which, again, favors Pace. They were the ones to go in. Codito now having to use that ult, and it's not going to work. It actually is going to work. I do apologize. Codito winning out pretty heavily. Now the rest of the backup is coming in. Pace getting themselves locked up into a dangerous spot. No one can really help out. BNZ was able to get back into the fight. Come back. Has to run away. You are now locked up. You don't have, you do have flash, but you don't have cleanse, so it's a little bit dangerous. Ika now trying to stay alive. It looks like Codito will pick up that kill, and it's a clean out on the bot side. As Pace thought they could get more, but St. Clair Saints Academy say they are just that much better.
Oh my, and John was really the player of those fights, getting the front lane, followed up by Gojo. Don't even need TP coming out from Solitary skill. We saw them going to the top side. So, gosh, they played the rotation just around the river so incredibly well, Orbital. There was pressure coming out from BNZ, pushing Ika away, so they couldn't really do anything on the fight. John was on the front line, and Codito was doing massive damage when they tried to get something on flanks. SEC had said, we are not giving you any flanks. This is all our area, and Pace couldn't connect anything at all. But at least they, for SEC, they get the Drake, they get the fight, and things are feeling much more interesting compared to the previous game.
Just feels a little bit more even, right? And especially with the fact that Ika is currently 0-3-0. These grubs should be their value right now, though. The Paranoia is going to try and stop this last one. You want to stop those Void Knights coming out. We're going to knock him into 4, and the Equalizer come down.
Wow.
So this time, X is in. How much can you actually do, though? Codito's actually living for a decent bit, but it's still not going to matter. What a turnaround, though. Again, that is the Aatrox surviving for so much longer. The survivability of the squad is just too good. They were also able to get all the Voidlings that is going to be the kills. However, the death ensuing will be in favor of Pace as they clean up 4 for 2.
What? And speaking of 4, on a quadra kill for Ika. Now 4 and 3. That's insane. But I will say, we didn't really notice, but Codito got the first, if I'm not mistaken, the last of those Void Grubs. So it's SCC with a majority of them, if not 6. Because I don't know if Pace got to steal any of them in this last fight. Oh, Gojo looking out for their shutdown. Juicy money coming soon.
It's just that easy. 850 in the pocket, and I know you said that the Voids are so good to pick up on 5, but it really only helps, I feel, in the early stages if you're trying to get first tower or anything. Instead, 2 have actually fallen, so Pace to actually have a little extra gold in their pocket. This Herald will actually help open up the base for St. Clair a little bit more. Still, though, good value out of Pace. They were able to kind of negate that Void Grub's value. We'll see if they can do the same with the Herald. As last time I believe Pace drove it straight into a wall. We'll see if St. Clair Saints Academy will do the same.
Oh, that's not a memory I wanted to relive, but here we are. It's the second Herald of the series. We hope it's not going to go into a wall. And now we swapped lanes. Codito here on the bot side, allowing for the bot lane on SEC to farm quite a bit on the mid lane. Still, no objectives on the board. We wonder what's going to be the next rotation of what they are willing to do, because ECAC build so much gold. They are on 2 completed items. They have the Razor, they have the Static Shift, they have the Cull completed, and now they can do quite a lot on split push potential if they want to do so.
I mean, they could. However, Rudy can't say the same. Unbreakable Wall is only going to keep them alive for a little bit longer. And Solitary, able to go ahead and cook up some beef here. That allows Solitary to get a little bit more value, right? Having been shut down pretty heavily by X in the top side, this is going to be nice, right? This is going to help this Aatrox become a much higher threat potential.
Looking good, 29,000, 30,000 for pace. It's very close, so SEC off to a much better start in the second game of the series. Now, as we said, overall on the map, because the only tower that was taken was on the top side, the only pressure that pace can really do on lanes, oh no, don't mind me, mid and top lane, tier 1s were taken down there by pace. They have pressure on these sides, so allowing ECAC to be on the bottom side actually makes quite a lot of sense, because you want to allow them to have as much farm as possible. There's 1 minute for the next Drake, so you are in a good position. They're also going to have their TP and ulti available should anything want to happen on another side of the map. But SEC have a great shot of trying to steal this one, because it would be the one up on Drake scores. They have a great composition for engaging. Now they need to get that execute down.
You need to be able to find those kills, as you said. With 30 seconds, this is actually a pretty heavy early rotate by pace. You're trying to set up vision, you're trying to clear out vision as well, but not really happening. SEC still have pretty good control over their own side, but take a look at where pace are situated. They have some deeper wards in here, one kind of sitting on the other side of that river. So it's not bad. I also don't think it was seen, so it's still going to stay up. Very, very nice pick right there. Pace are going to be able to see a lot of what SEC are wanting to do here. Herald is going to get a little bit of value, not a lot. What it does do is it pulls 3 away from Pace, as they're not able to really hold their edge of the dragon.
Very nicely done. You get that distraction, you get that priority for pace out of the Drake, but they're getting flanked.
I think they're going to be out. They're going to be okay. They do sacrifice on the top side, but the dragon is a little bit more important, surprisingly to say, considering it is Cloud. I mean, Solitary with the TP advantage, that's actually what you want to use. You want to use it to pressure in. However, the big call here is going to be a little bit questionable. That's a recall coming out here. They're assuming no one's coming in, and it's true. It's because no one is. Good TP back by the side of ECAC. That's actually going to call off the Rumble recall. So, a little bit of a jockeying of positions here. X. All right, good spot. Good spot by Codito.
Love to see it. Love doing that with Kalista, with Ashe. Love to do it. Now, that is very well played by SEC. It was close to being something that could have been better executed. So they have the strategy and the idea there, but they're not quite executing it at the end. Pace got themselves back onto the river when, to be fair, they didn't have any right to do so. They guarantee the Drake, but Solitary still. Oh!
Uh-oh. That's a good flash away. I think you had to. You saw the rest of the team jumping in, so a little bit of a jump over the wall to one ult coming out with Paranoia. Overall, though, this is going to be a bit of a difference here. SCC applying pressure in the mid lane.
And again, things just very even across the board. Only differential here would be that one up Drake for pace. Now as the XXZ is looking to take down this tier 1 on the bottom side, and no space really built at this moment for the TF to go around the map. I would say would be a good choice to do it, but now SCC wants to get Rumble.
Oh, this is going to be that easy kill. I mean, you flash out, but what can you really get here? Flash away by Codito, though, just to ensure that nothing's going to happen. In the meantime, I mean, there's no way you're doing Baron. Well called by St. Clair Saints.
For sure, it's Baron on spawn. You have to be so much ahead, and that's not the case for Space. We've been talking about it. They are just close even on both ends. So nicely done, as you pointed out. But to be fair, I kind of wished it would have been a case because I love my Barons on spawn, but it's fine. So CC guaranteeing that that big threat that the Rumble has been posing is now no flash, no ignite, and no equalizer. Of course, it's probably going to be back for the next team to happen. But finally, we're looking at ECA having that split push potential that we want to see from an ADTF, and also with the Merc threads and also the magic resistance component, they are going to stand much more of that damage coming out from Cadito, and it could mean that things could last better for Pace. But SCC still standing on a good spot for engaging if they get a pick off.
And right now it is about that pick off. The pick versus pick is really what we're looking at, and honestly, this time it's actually quite surprising. Lee Sin has not had the most amazing time on this Nocturne. Remember, last time was up pretty heavily, but Gojo has actually done a fantastic job, right? About 1.5k in the lead over their jungle counterpart. In the mid lane, we're still seeing the shake-up between the two. Codito doing okay for themselves, 8.6, but a full 10.7 for ECA. There's a lot of little different pieces here that have shaken up from game number 1, and I do agree, it's going to come down to that catch potential, and with that catch, we do kind of got to wait. Like, is it going to be around the objectives, or are they actually going to try and force things? Go ahead and see a lot of gold in ECA's pocket, thanks to that passive. It's been very, very nice to hang on to, but you still can't push up a wave too far. Take a look at that. Lot of respect handed down from ECA.
Yeah, you have to do it. You know that you have magic resistance, but you cannot expose yourself that much. They have completed the Wit's End, so this TF is feeling super comfortable for the next team fights to happen. 1 minute and 15 seconds for the next Drake could be soul point for Pace to score. And on both sides, I think, of course, the biggest damage coming out from Swain, having completed the Malignus plus the Rileys and stacking out to a potential Rabadon's next could be what makes or breaks the team fight for SCC. If they can line up the CC with Gojo, the Crystal Prison plus Solidary Skill getting the 3 knockups on the queue could be huge. But I don't think we have really seen Solidary Skill coming out to these team fights, but because they have the TP, they can do it. They just haven't been prioritizing it.
I think a lot of respect being handed down, and honestly, this is the most quiet we've actually seen both teams, and even when no global objectives are up, it's surprising to see no one really trying to make that fast-paced move. Instead, it's just going to be around this dragon, which is up in about 15, but I mean, X not being there does signal that Pace are more than willing to really give up in favor of lane priority and lane pressure. So see if they decide to do so. Finally rotating around about 10 seconds to that fight. See how they do this. John going forward and just kind of getting poked out here. I think more behind, but this is going to be interesting. St. Clair Saints Academy maybe hunting for a catch?
Maybe.
Ooh,
almost get it.
Just shy. Paranoia called down behind, and I mean, no one wants to make that fight. That's 2 big team fight ults down.
Okay, I think that's a great counter back from Pace because that was a good position from SCC. But Orbital, now they noticed, well, yeah, that Drake is up, isn't it? So we gotta fight for it. So looking to get into the river once again, but now dominated by Pace.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's Cloud, right? It's not Soul. It's not that bad of a time. Let's go ahead and try and push, and it looks like they will be able to get tower. The wave is going to be cut pretty quickly, but again, it was on its last leg, so now you get to try and take that chance. John is going to try and jump in, and it looks like they actually got the catch on 2 carries. It's going to be Lee Sin to try and walk away, but how far do you actually want to go? You got the flash out of ECA. You're able to get the flash out of Lee Sin. St. Clair Saints, you know, not the worst thing in the world. You'd say it's actually pretty okay.
I agree. Those summoner spells are so huge for both of those champions. Of course, Nocturne doesn't have much of an escape. It's more going in and dying while you're at it if you don't get any kills. And ECA needs to have that mobility to be staying just around the edge of the fight to guarantee the damage on those auto attacks. Much more spacing on the AD/TF than the AP build on TF. So I think it's not bad at all for SCC, but at the same time, they are 1 Drake versus 3 compared to Pace, and now Pace is building that vision to the top side, closer to that Baron. Oh, but they don't have HP. Yeah, ECA!
ECA was able to sidestep 1, but you don't really have flash, and so you're just going to try and turn around. The CC is just too strong, and any other top jungle combination, I think you would have been able to at least take one, but in this situation, you're not going to get any. Right now, Lee Sin, though, on the top side is going to fight it out instead. It's going to be a little bit of collapse, and Rudy goes, I don't know where else to go. It's going to be a jump in, but that's called down to the equalizer. So many people zoned away. Paranoia being used again. They're going to try and jump straight onto a very, very dangerous Swain. I'm not sure that was a call that you really wanted. Again, Codito is able to stay alive for so long. Another healthy mistake out of Pace's side is going to lend themselves to a very dangerous spot. I come back to win is going to get chased down as well. And the composition of Pace is calling out TP in from the side of Solidarity. And St. Clair Saints Academy wash Pace LOL.
I just find it remarkable that you won an ace and you don't even need your jungler to take down Baron. I mean, do you maybe you did? They're doing this very, very slowly. It was just very funny that they got to get the TP up from the Solidarity skill. Oh, they had to disengage it because the Sejuani wasn't there. So I guess you did need your smite. You did need your extra damage, especially coming out from Codito. That is down at the moment. It could have been very, very good for SEC. They tried. Nothing really bad coming out of it. I wish they had done it.
I mean, they tried, right? And at the end of the day, the big question that's going to come about is, are Pace going to kind of put themselves in a losing position again, right? You dove in on an ulting Swain, and that's just not what you want to do, right? Once you pull that ult, you want to try and back away if you can. But at these moments, it feels like Pace are kind of throwing themselves to the wolves. I still think they have a pretty good mid to late game. I don't think it's bad by any stretch of the imagination. Granted, comeback isn't that far ahead, and BNZ was able to pick up a lot of good kills, now about 3 items deep. It's just not out. It's not out, right? Like, I'm sitting here and taking a look. Pace really play smart, play well with a little bit of front line. You can do some work. Of course, that window is quickly dwindling down, as well as St. Clair Saints Academy. Looking at this next dragon to be a full-on fight.
It's true, and I'm looking at the scores and how gold has been stacking up, how the kills have been stacking up, and SEC have just incredible presence on kill participation on the side of Pace. This game is not looking anywhere close to how it was on the last time. The ADC a comeback on only 2 and 3 and 0. What a difference from the first blood and 5 early kills on Perfect KDA that they had around 10 minutes of game. Even Lee Sin on 0, 4 and 3 playing the same champion they were in the previous game, but SEC is just maneuvering much better around that composition, and with that much gold that can be distributed around the team, they are just getting more damage on the fight, which is something Pace hasn't really been able to assert, and especially because of such short range.
It's true, that's one of their downsides. It's been upside and downside for either direction, depending on which way you look at it. And right now, with 30 seconds left on this dragon, the Baron was not taken, and this might be that big shot, right? St. Clair Saints Academy are still looking for that major breakthrough moment, and with no real TP alive, Solitary kind of has to run in with the rest of the team. Right now, everyone, though, kind of walking above, and Rudy is able to spot out all 3. Well caught, but Lee Sin on the other. Look how dark this is, right? They have to do that about 3 more times, but they say instead, screw it, we'll just go mid. And now, Pace are able to draw the rest of St. Clair Saints Academy into their own roster. Rudy is going to have to break away, but that's a good catch on the Rumble. How much more are you going to get? Paranoia turning out the lights. Can't really dive out, and that's the ADC zoned away. But look at the burn again. Codito is melting everyone in the back line. I come back to win. Ain't going to be able to come back from anything now. You are just dead as St. Clair Saints Academy decimate Pace.
Oh, that was huge! It was such a good play from Lee Sin. It was sound in theory, but BNZ kited them out like a pro, getting a 3-kill streak there for SEC as they got on the ace. Now taking out that deny on the soul point for Pace. This is incredible. They could even rotate for the Baron. I think they have enough damage right now if they want to take down Solidary skill here. The mid lane, they could. It's at least 5 seconds for Lee Sin to come back, so it could be too risky because that is the jungler, and Lee Sin has been playing well as a jungler, so I don't think this would be super smart to do. Can they get there in time?
I don't think so. I don't even think they can try it right now. St. Clair Saints Academy have been doing so well, and another part of that is, again, we're highlighting certain plays. Codito in game 1 on the Nico looked like a mainstay player. If that ball had not gone differently, I think they could have done it this time around. 9, 3, and 8 also a massive carry, and then BNZ able to pick up so many free kills on the back end. 7, 1, and 4 got zoned out that fight. I want to put that out. Lee Sin was able to zone away the Kai'Sa. BNZ was not in that major fight. It was really just Godito being nasty and being really, really unkillable. So far, St. Clair Saints Academy haven't really had to do anything fancy. They haven't had to play any of these crazy flank angles. It's literally through the front door. Everyone ball up, and we win.
Yeah, differently from the last game where we said that things weren't really straightforward. This is as straightforward as it can get. SEC with the knockups on Solidary Skill. Gojo with the Crystal Prison, Glacial Prison. And especially Godito, as you said, dealing so much damage, zoning out people. But one thing that Pace knows how to do is split pushing. They have one sole TF, and SCC have a full team with Baron going out to top side. Both of them get that tier 2s, but the TF remains.
I mean, I think you can do this. You actually outpace them. Take a look at how quickly you do push on your own. Even against a Baron, you're pretty much fine. And you can run. You can actually get away.
Insane.
You don't have to use any of your ults or anything. You're safe, right? You don't have Destiny's Call. I'm kind of dumb there because I didn't see it. But that's actually a big win for Pace, right? Their entire composition doesn't actually want a team fight. They're not great team fighters. Take a look down the road. You've already known you're not going to win a 5v5. You do just have to put ECA on the side lane. Already 4 items deep and broken open that bot lane possibility. If things go awry and St. Clair Saints Academy are not able to lock down with the CC they have, that is an opportunity for Pace to sneak away an inhibitor.
And one thing we noticed in the previous game as well, Orbital, is that Pace knows how to distribute their forces in regards to taking pressure off the side lanes. They know how to control the waves, how to get those waves pushed at the right moments, and I think this is going to highly benefit them if they do go for the straight out Eka on the split push. To be fair, they have not just the Destiny's Fate, but also the TP, so if they want to be on the team fight and then TP, or push in, then TP into the team fight, they could do it. Now Lee Sin getting caught in their own jungle.
Couldn't smite it. Feels bad. Not the worst thing to lose, though. There could be worse things, such as your own life. You want to be able to farm at all. We are pressing into that 32.5 to 33 minute mark. I think last game it went about 34 to 35 where we ended, so kind of pressing into that territory that we might see comebacks start to be a little bit stronger, right? After about 40 minutes, you're like, okay, you farmed up enough, you got all the gold that you want, and you're not really going to get much stronger. Godito specifically, sitting on about 4 items already, has that Dark Seal in pocket, may upgrade it to a Magi Soul Stealer, but, I mean, you are pretty much over your threshold already. Bot side as well, BNZ going to AP route. You're already spiked pretty hard. Unless you get the Rabadons behind, I don't think you're going to get that much else, so I don't even think you want to get the Rabadons. I keep forgetting what the build is there, but this Dragon coming up in a minute is going to be covered by the likes of SCC, and it looks like it is going to be handed. Pace going to try and play for that late. Ika, though, again, out and alone. There's no way to stop, and this is just on repeat now.
Yeah, BNZ legendary 8-1-4 with a hybrid build Kai'Sa, but no solitary skill has been okay, almost.
Uh-oh. I mean, I think you're fine, right? And oh, I come back, roll into that fight? Why would you roll into the fight? Where did the equalizer go? The equalizer went left and right. I don't understand where it went. And SEC just got an opening. They saw the crack in the armor and just split it open like a coconut.
Yeah, give me some coconut water and a little tiny umbrella straw on my cup because SEC is dominating this game. Now 66,000 versus 61,000 gold for Pace, and they could push in this wave. There's 15 seconds for Drake. They could deny another soul point for Pace, and it could be an end game too.
Yeah, I mean, they've been strong for a while, but I was wondering exactly when are they going to get the confidence to really push forward and try and break these fights out. They've been so respectful, and now it feels like they can start bullying, right? They could have looked for a 5v5 and watched that fight too, but that last fight shows that Pace are rattled. They don't know what they're doing at this current moment. They don't know how to come back. They knew what they wanted to do in draft, but it didn't pan out in the early to mid, and now St. Clair Saints Academy are quite literally just, when do you want to end the game? Right, your composition is fully online. You have all the strength in the world. You don't have soul, but you don't really need it. Baron up in a minute. You really don't have to worry about anything. It's really, when do you want to try and end this game and move to a game 3?
And it's the case where BNZ is just executing this Kai'Sa so well, where compared to Comeback, how they were doing in the previous game, this Vayne is not really connecting. They have 2 and 5 and 0. Of course they're farming, yes, that's just where you're going to be on 35 minutes in the game, but the Vayne is not connecting the damage. ECA trying to connect the damage as well isn't really doing so. It's usually on XXZ to try and get that with the equalizer, but we saw it just going absolutely sideways. If they can connect a fight here, SCC could be endgame. Now both teams on 3 dragons each.
And this is danger, right? Right now, I'm really looking at Comeback to say, where are you going to put down the damage? Right now, you're still building into that Negatron cloak. There's not much else behind. But who are you really going to kill? Right? Like, looking down the lane, you tried 3 or 4 different people. It's just not been available. So at this point, the team's really got to work together. Pace, they don't have a team fight composition as well as St. Clair Saints Academies, but they got to make it to work. Leeson, though, not in a room to help and is immediately pinched down.
God.
The catch of St. Clair Saints Academy is looking just too dang good. And now the chase is on. Are they going to turn for Baron? Yes, they're going to play respectful again. They know that there's no jungler, so they get this for free.
Yeah, but they have to be cautious about ECA as well. They are still available if they want to go for a split push, but now 50% on that Baron. Can they do it? There's no smite to contest. The equalizer goes in.
Okay, that's going to be a good smite. And now, how many more are you going to get? Good Zion's coming out of BNZ, so you're safe. And now the rest of the team can help you out. In goes the Killer Instinct, and you are still alive. Instincts ahoy! Ika will now fall. BNZ is legendary. And for the 3rd time in a row, St. Clair Saints Academy will decimate Pace Gold.
And only XXZ is still alive. It's John and Gojo trying to take them down, or at least try to deny them from going back to base. While the forces are pushing out top and mid, they could take them down right here. And the base is going to be open on the side of Pace. And they still remain a little bit. And an objective bounty that was actually collected in the meantime. Woo! A flush away, but not enough.
Yeah, this is going to be it. GG's all the way. St. Clair Saints Academy, Pace tried a little bit of an unorthodox composition. The TF made sense, the Rumble made sense, the Nocturne made sense. But this is going to be that chance. That Swain was just too powerful. Codito, in the most Swain way possible, is going to seal the deal on this game. We are going to a Game 3 with St. Clair Saints Academy's hopes of playoffs alive.
Oh yeah, this is the moment. SCC looked so good in the first game, getting back from such a great potential that Pace had in the early, getting even equal, even a little bit ahead, not connecting at the end. But do not fret, second game was here for SCC and St. Clair Saints Academy. They guaranteed that they were not going to make mistakes. The last time, they were capitalizing on the enemy's mistakes, but this time, they were not making the mistakes themselves. And Pace, oh, that Vayne wasn't it.
And Vayne wasn't it, and it's not only that, right? The Vayne wasn't it, but the Swain very much was. We questioned it in the draft, but that Swain was a pivotal reason why these fights just did not work. It's the same as, you know, watching just this immovable object be met with, like, what, a pea shooter at the end of the day from the Vayne. Taking a look at game number 3, what do you think we are going to see and what we are not going to see? So, Chan, are we going to see the Swain? Is that going to be banned away? Like, what do you think we're going to have here?
I think it makes sense to take the Swain away from Codito. I think they played exceptionally well on their champion, really controlling the team fights. Like we saw from Pace, having the Pop Blossoms of Nico really making a difference on the team fights. That's exactly what we were looking at from Codito there. But one thing that I don't want to see, and I don't think is going to come back, is the Vayne. I'm sorry, I didn't really like it. It's not much played. You do play against, I don't know, the melees in the top side. Yeah, that works out better. But the bot lane, oh, especially how the Kai'Sa can really build hybrid, and she has all that amount of arguments she's going to have with every ability and every power-up that she can get ahead. And they shut down the Vayne. She couldn't do anything at all. So I would say that from the Ben side of things, it would keep similar to what they have already accumulated from the first game, adding out that Swain. Aside from that, I would say that most things are going to be similar. But I would like to see a Rumble again. What do you think?
I think so as well. We'll go ahead and see what the teams decide to do as we'll go to a very short break. We are in for the finale of this amazing series from the Super Elite Division here in the ECAC. Please do not go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back here, everyone. We are excited for the finale, act number 3 of this 3-part series. It's been a time. It has been a time. Pace won game number 1, albeit some unfortunate moves, and then game 2 it kind of exploded, and St. Clair Saints Academy ran through like a truck. They had all 5 barreling down at one point. This is a team that knows how to make use of mistakes, and that is what we're identifying. And then Sofchan, there is one player, to at least me, that stood out way more, and I want to see if you agree. Codito in the mid lane is a threat and a problem.
Oh, yeah. On the Nico, on the Swain, everything is just going so well for them, especially when you're going for these mages that, do quite a lot of damage, but especially get control over the fight. So for the Nico, more defensively, for the Swain, more aggressively. And they were just so incredibly good. And I hear that we have draft coming through in a second. So is the Swain going to get banned? Is the Nico going to get banned again?
I don't know, but Pace are back on the blue side. So far, blue side having 100% win rate, I believe, if my brain does remember. Yes, that is what it was. So, see if it does. Taking a look at the ban phase, the Echo, and the Echo has actually been a pure draft so far the entire time, if I'm not mistaken. It's always been banned by Pace. They don't want to give it over, and they have to ban the King, which actually might bite them a little bit this time. Being forced into unique bans instead of the meta does open up a lot of variety here, and St. Clair is saying, okay, we cannot give over that karma. I think that's very appropriate and a very understanding point, right? X has been pretty good in running that, and then the Smolder ban still makes a lot of sense. This is where we have a lot of questions, right? St. Clair Academy, what do they want to ban here? There's a lot of options to choose from. You could go for that TF. It has been picked up quite often, but they found an answer, so they banned the Cassante.
And so far, neither of those 2 mid lane bans that we talked about, the Nico and the Swain, although there is still the now Pace looking for a Lucian first pick on the blue side. So from this, I would say they went from a Vayne bottom into the Lucian, potentially Milio or Nami together. We'll see which one is going to get picked. For St. Clair, they go in with the Kai'Sa that was super good for BNZ in the previous game, and Solitary Skill could be getting that Aatrox, and they are.
Here's the thing, is you do have to know, if we are playing by the meta, that Milio is going to come out here. At the same time, the Nami could also come out. It's still a strong bottom lane, right? And a huge reason why I think the bot lane went the way it did, and BNZ and John had a really nice time, is because it was a Vayne and an Alistar. That is a vastly different lane than a Lucian Nami, which is well known as early game punishes. On the top side, this is not a Rumble, but it's still a pretty good early game fighter. The Renekton can overpower if X is allowed to. Of course, Solitary did show up very well on the Aatrox. We'll see if it can carry over.
Yeah, looking at that, I was thinking if the Sejuani would come up again, because the main focus to me, of course, Codito was doing super well and enabling the fights, but Gojo on the Sejuani plus John on the Rakan were exceptional as well. All of the attempts they tried to do, they could execute that chain of CC, and a reminder here that this Yumi is is just a placeholder for another.
No place in league. No reason to be a place in league. It just feels so out of place. I'm not sure.
It's just take it out. Just remove it. To be fair, it's just not what I think. I love cats. I love Yumi. I'm the only person that loves Yumi in the universe. It's okay.
That's fair. That's fair. At the same time, though, we are not going to see a Yumi at all at this current moment. Yumi, unfortunately, is, I think, slightly out of the meta. I don't know where it ranks right now in support role, but the main ones that we do want to watch for are the Swain. Yeah. The Swain, though, again, very appropriate, and at the time, we are really watching, right? With the Rakan ban away as well, St. Clair losing 2 of the 5 champions that they ran in game number 2, which have already drafted 3 out of the 5, so now you actually are going to change it up. You are going to draft the Nautilus. This is going to give a little bit more forward action. And again, paired very well with Gojo Sejuani, which also brought a lot of power. Here's the shakeup, right? This is where the shakeup from Pace has to come about. They drafted fairly early right now in the Lucian and in that Renekton. Not only that, we need to see a good blind pick come out here, because ECAC has actually been struggling a bit in the mid lane, and that Corki might be able to get over that early game hump.
Okay, I think that's very interesting, but the Talia counter, oh, that feels good. That feels really, really good, because the Corki wants to get Of course, you want to throw in your rockets, and when you're mid to late game, the Rose rockets are really just going to be chunking down your HP bar. But until you get there, the Talia is just going to outrange you. It's going to have good control over the wave. She has so much mobility on levels. So I think this is a great counter for St. Clair's Academy. Now, looking at the rest of the comp, I believe Nautilus was banned in the last game because of how well Rudy did, but now since it was open, it's John who's on it. I think that's a great pick because it works out super well with the Kai'Sa. You get good range of engage because of your anchor, and you allow the Kai'Sa to have control over the team fight. And she has that all-in going style anyway, so that matches out really well, like the Rakan did previously. So into the game we go, Orbital.
Yeah, and you know, Pace in game number 1 showed exceptional skill in, I would say, micro mechanics, getting along very, very well there. Game number 2, little bit less so. Game number 3 here, they're all inning on that factor. Take a look at the draft that they have. It's very early game centric, mid game a little bit waiting, late game the Corki will do damage, but recently nerfed. I'm actually really liking this mid to late game value that St. Clair Saints Academy are going to give, as we do get one of the nicest flyovers of some of the animals on the rift. There are so many little pockets. By the way, we got a frog there. Yeah, or actually, that's the Dinoraptor. That is that is the jungle. There's a frog somewhere. There's a frog. There's also a wolf pet. We're literally playing Pokemon right now. This is great.
Yeah, we are.
Please, no copyright, please. There's the frog that I was looking at. That is the lovely one.
I love it. It's one of my favorites. So cute, so small, so tiny. Oh, I never noticed that snail. Thank you. I'm not the biggest fan of snails, but that one's cute, I guess.
Yeah, we can't show you the frog at the top of red base. You know, we can't really show that one. I'm sorry. Taking a look here, though, it is going to be a little bit aggressive from John, trying to get a little bit of a front run in that aggressive stance. Of course, in this top side, we're also seeing a little bit of shift. I love the fact that we're getting this flyover, though. Just, again, this top side has actually been one of the points that we really want to watch for. X last time got a healthy lead, but wasn't able to really utilize it. See if they can do the same here, or if he's going to have some struggles in the early game.
Looking nice here. Both top laners, those bruises can do quite a lot of damage, so we'll see what's going to be the rotation coming out first. I would wager Gojo goes top lane first, although there is a rotation that could indicate otherwise. Now, going from red to Krugs, that means it's possible they go in top, but Kadito...
Nice little damage coming down here. And again, it's not kill threat. I mean, neither of these champions really do have pure kill unless you overstay. That's actually going to be that chance. Nice wave to come in here as ECA is trying to heal up as much as possible. But again, Codito, honestly, consistently finding leads in the mid lane, whether by their own devices or not.
And differently from what I mentioned, yeah, of course, you would need the level 3 to get the successful gank there on the Sejuani. So now continue that rotation. Now listen, though, it doesn't want to go for a full clear.
Yeah, this is again, identifying that Codito has been that mainstay powerhouse and has consistently had kind of freedom in the mid lane. I think this is the appropriate response, right? You do need to go ahead and try and land coverage before ECA actually farm up, especially on something like a Corki, right? This has a chance to massively fall off if you don't help the Corki into a good spot, and especially if they're trading a little bit differently, it's a problem. Now out of mana, though, Codito is actually going to have to run away, and that's a good shove. ECA with the early back here. Backed on about 10 CS, was able to pick up the tier right away.
Oh, that's really good. Stacking out those stacks are going to be very necessary, and I love how they not just pushed in the wave, but really pushed Codito back to base, getting there, forcing the TP as well, so they don't lose any of those minions. Now, on level 4, it's Solidary skill actually controlling the area and pushing out this wave much more. Now, bot lane actually seeing some action, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they had to burn the flash. That was a gank coming in here from Gojo and almost full expenditure. 3/4 of summoner spells out from BNZ and John. Now on the top side, though, we're going to see a little bit of a distance. Solitary actually spun those skills a little bit far. Might have a dash, but Not sure what else is going to be up. Going to try and play around the alcove here. ECA has him routed, but remember, how much of a slam can you actually get? Flash out by X, and looks like that is going to be the kill. A final Q will take it, but I mean, they're going to give it up. Bot lane, though, first blood instead. Going over to the Kaisa as St. Clair Saints Academy getting leads on the bot lane.
No, that's very interesting. All right, so we had that 1v1 on the top side. That turned into a 2v1 with a game coming out from ECA. No, and a flash forward in a twisted advance.
Oh, yeah, but Rudy wasn't ready. Rudy wasn't able to follow up, so BNZ is allowed to live. That sapling isn't going to catch it. And that's a huge dub. So St. Clair Academy, not only that, the lollipop from John lands and the tree is going to be uprooted.
Oh my word, SCC getting on top on that trade. But good God, it was ballsy. They tried to do at least in, but compared to what they had previously on the Nocturne, they don't have as much damage. Of course, it's good to try to get that twisted advance into something, but the flash forward wasn't quite enough. You burn down the enemy's flash, and BNZ is going to be more vulnerable, especially not being level 6 yet. But that was quite of a crazy start, right?
It is, and it actually has a lot more impact than we really give it credit for, right? The bot lane is one lane that really needs to win for the Lucian Nami. You have to win. You need to win. It's something that you really, really need to value. And because you fell behind so early on, not only that, the CS differential is net even. BNZ is going to have a fantastic time in this bot side now. Not only that, this top side might fall down.
Oh.
That's going to be a jump in. Level 6 hit by Solitaire and only level 5 from X. It's a win all the way around for St. Clair Saints Academy, as they have now won in the top and bot.
Okay, look at that rotation. Wow, I think we mentioned some good micro from St. Clair Saints, but this is incredible macro coming out from them, getting that support up to the top lane. We saw that going on last game with John coming in the mid lane to guarantee that kill onto ECA. But this time they're going all into the top side, guarantee that kill, getting the jungler on 0, 0, and 3. So 100% kill participation, and most likely 100% of those first 3 void grubs that have spawned. That is huge for them, especially because, as you said, you need to shut down the pressure that the Lucian Nami can have, and they're doing it just fine.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, it's not a full shutdown, but it's enough. It's enough that they've done to give BNZ that little jump over that desperation play, and not desperation play, but unnecessary need for a desperation play, I think is a better way to put it, right? They don't have to make any crazy marks. BNZ is going to scale up pretty nicely into the late. Honestly, it's on Comeback, Rudy, and Lee Sin to actually make a play for pace, or they're going to lose their advantages. Dragon is currently up. It's been up for about 2 minutes. Gojo is still on the top side, so, I mean, there could be some playmaking options if they knew, but Kodito already with the Weaver's Wall up and ready to go is more than willing to jump down towards his bottom side. Top side, though, X happy to trade out duels, and honestly, even though you did lose your life once, you have had an HP lead on the top side. However, the difference here is a lot of help is being thrown to solitary skill. It's going to happen again. In goes the Dominus. X getting kited a little bit, and I'm not sure you like this stunned up with that passive, but then Solid Q is going to turn around, flash away if you can, but at least Gojo in a really bad spot.
What?
That's going to be the kill, and X is going to look for another Q. We'll finish it off as X again carries home 2.
Oh, it's a 1v2 and they take it home. The Renekton was a great choice, and showing here that if you can bruise them down quick enough, the Aatrox cannot heal fast enough either. Now, okay, that is the turning point for pace, because SEC have been in good control over the map, but while that was happening, pace was also pushing out the ball lane very heavily, and as soon as they saw Gojo in the top side, they could start engaging on that Drake, and that's what they did. They shoved the wave. Now they're taking control over the Drake, as being the first one of the game in almost 8:30 minutes. And ECA could even take some platings here. Now, scaling that Corki is huge, because we talked about how there's a big rotation and just crowd control that Kodito has on the Talia, but so does a Corki.
Corki may not have that direct CC ability, but it is the pressure that can come out, right? Those rockets that come out later, the auto attack spacing, if you weave it well, is perfect. Honestly, I think it is going to lean on X in this top side, break open the top side as much as possible, keep Solitary down, and maybe you can start rotating towards that mid lane, help out ECA, who did gather a kill on the top side, keep that one in mind. That's where that one kill came from. All these little pieces are starting to fall into place, whether by force or not. That's what I'm kind of watching for, right? Pace. They have about 2 or 3 pieces that really need to fit together well here in the early game. For St. Clair Saints Academy, it does feel they have a little bit more open room to work with, if they so wish. A little bit more time, if you will.
Yeah, and I think what I was trying to compare there would be more of the package that you have with Corki to try and zone out people on a fight, like we similarly had with the Rumble on the Equalizer there, but now it's Great Nature's Grasp going on to the top laner.
Oh man, it's just that easy. They are now picking apart the weak side of SCC, and I think this is the appropriate response, right? You're even drawing John away, which is giving free fight for Comeback, who is keeping an okay pace right now. I just want to see how much X can actually do with that, right? Like, how much is going to work?
We'll see. Because to be fair, they have good access to the backline. Lucian can be very safe, especially with the Nami pocket. And with the Twist Advance and the Nature's Grasp, you can get into the backline, allow for XXZ to have a good flank position. And I think it can work really well for pace. But St. Clair Saints Academy have shown great positioning as well, especially in regards to rotating efforts. Finally, solitary skill with their armor boot could be denying some of the damage, getting that push onto the wave and trying to deny some of that for the enemy top laner. Is, you mentioned it, most of the resources are on the Renekton.
A lot of the resources are there, but these Void Mites are actually going to do a lot of work. This is the first time that we've seen an uncontested Grubs pickup. Huge win to the side of St. Clair Saints Academy. And with this, it's actually pre-14 minutes, meaning you're actually going to get a lot of value if you wish to try and punish a lane. Now, which lane are you going to punish? That's left to question, as already the plates are falling. However, it does mean these big team fights will hit much harder if SCC are going to win.
If I'm not mistaken, the first 4 grabs in this game were also uncontested, but now I'm actually a little uncertain which of the teams got it. Yes. Okay, thank you so much for Observer to letting me know. If I'm not mistaken, it was Peace. Do correct me if I'm wrong, voice of my conscience.
Yeah, this is going to be a chance, Rudy, though. I mean, this is a jump. This is an easy pinch again. The strength of BNZ that was given time in the early game is going to win out. Lee Sin having to run away, but guess who's here? Gojo is ready to fly up. Look at the pinch. Good flash out. That's going to be a little bit of a glacial prison, not going to land. And now you get the fight. ECA making the way down, trying to turn it around, but that's going to be a shove flash away from, and it is going to be Comeback trying to get the kill. Ticking time bomb as is. The Ignite will finish it off. Top side, there's a win for Pace, and it looks like the raw skill from Pace is starting to pick up.
It really is. It's not just the kills that they got, but all of the health bars ticking so low for St. Clair's Academy that they actually had themselves in a stage where they feel comfortable, just enough for Comeback to go flash forward, dodging out the hook, going out with another sidestep and getting that kill, while top lane absolutely bullying the Aatrox on Solidary skill. This Renekton is doing work, and now ECA got themselves one plating at least in the mid lane, and all of that gold is gonna finally start to make a difference because they're already very close to winning those team fights.
The clock that they are ticking on is saying, we're gonna speed up a little bit. Gonna be kind of nice, of course. I think this next dragon will be very telling. Pace have not really been able to have a strong control. I think in both games 1 and 2 they had the first Drake and were able to kind of fight out the next, but this time around it'll be a nice little contest here. X still on the top side, looking so strong, even taking the full brunt of solitary skills. X is feeling pretty much on top of the world, right? The blade is in pocket. You're feeling really, really good. And you're drawing a lot of attention. Take a look at Codito, even looking towards that top side. Well backed off from X.
Yeah, and I think now that we have confirmed here that it was a 6 Void Grabs confirmed for St. Clair's Academy, this could be a huge moment for them to come back. But then there's a 2v1, and it's a shutdown, or is it?
I mean, X is going to fall now. Damage is enough. But Dragon handed over to Pace. So for one of the few times these objectives not fully contested over means as granted. This is a It's more a calm output that we normally see. However, John in the wrong place at the wrong time. Good depth charge to try and stay alive, and then the Weaver's wall to cut them off. BNZ is also cut off, but I don't think we'll worry about that too much. Yeah, this is Pace getting both dragons while SCC pretty much claim all void pieces in the top side. This is much more the standard that we normally see, right? ECA's going to try and play spoiler, but I mean, you can't really out-smite a jungler when you don't have smite yourself, so I think it's going to be more than okay. They're going to try and turn it around, though. ECA has to run away. I mean, you can dance it as much as you can, but there's not much here. TP coming in, but it's going to be too little too late as X says, what in the world was going on in there?
And St. Clair Saints Academy getting control fully over the top side objectives. All Grubs, the Herald themselves, and we saw that St. Clair was good on the trigger in the previous game, so they didn't get a drift onto the wall. We hope for them that they do manage to get that once again and guarantee at least the charge. And XZ doesn't even need a Herald. They're now the top lane just as easy. But now that there it is, the pressure, look at those Void Mites. It's insane. They take tier 1 and half of HP on tier 2.
Yep. Twitch chat, very much excited to join the call and join the Rift. It's been nice to see you. Now you gotta leave, of course. You gotta go back to Twitch chat itself. We are gonna watch and see you though, as with the Hextech Dragons, that brings a whole slew of problems. We have not actually seen this dragon here in this series, so as it brings about the gates, it's gonna be a little bit faster rotates as well. That mid tower being broken just means that Pace now start to kind of rotate out and about with the top side falling as well. Expect Pace to start trying to rotate out their members, especially X, who is 4-2-1, very strong, but definitely needs a little bit of help if you want to keep steamrolling this type of game, because Gojo and Solitaire have been on that croc so often.
Yes, they have, and to be fair, with good reason. And once again, there it is.
Just nice and easy. This time, though, it's a turnaround, right? Like, we saw Lee Sin coming from like a mile away. This is going to be the finisher, and Solitary doesn't even want to burn the ult, just going to try and stay alive for a little bit longer. Draw attention there. Still a kill to X.
And even Rudy rotated there just to make sure they got an assist, got a heal, just left already. It's all good. And now the both APCs there in the mid lane, both carries, completing their stacking ups on one of the Mew mana, the other one on the Saracen Brace, if I'm not mistaken. And with that, we're getting into a stage where the fights could make a big difference for these two mid laners. While both bot laners are doing a good job, heavy weight is being lifted by the croc, by the crocodile on the top side. And Renekton hasn't really joined any of the team fights thus far. Based on 2 Drakes and just shy of 2 minutes to go for the next one, finally XZ comes down the fray.
I mean, you kind of need to, right? You're just kind of hunting for those team fight wins. It's been too even across the game, so how are they actually going to change it out? Pace right now setting themselves up for a nice mid lane tower. No one else really around. Gojo is going to try and clear him off, but don't really have anyone. However, when the tower falls, that's a whole different story. They do decide to kind of pinch themselves. Smart call, though, by Pace. Again, that deep ward over there by Red Buff on SCC's side has spotted out Solitary, and so you cannot afford that opportunity. Very smart to back off.
Alright, and considering we have the Hextech Soul on the board that allows for so much rotation, we mentioned how Kadito and ECAC could have that with package, with your wall on Talia, but now with the Hextech Gates, that gets so much pressure around the map that could be done by both sides. At this point, Pace needs to convert the amount of pressure they had with the Renekton 5-2-1, very much ahead in gold, to try and convert into the other areas of the map, especially getting themselves into a soul point. So getting close to it, St. Clair Saints Academy noticed that is the case, and now they're trying to get some of that vision, some of that pressure on the river themselves, maybe even try to catch off ECA. But they decide to start this Drake on spawn. It would be the best of choices, but Rudy and Lee Sin are still around and could contest it right now. Oh, wow.
I mean, you had to flash, right? There's no other option there, so getting yourself to safety. However, on the backside, there was a little bit of a catch. Gojo taking quite low. Same with BNZ. BNZ was actually forced out of the fight because of that. There's no ADC, and Pace might have found the opportunity. That's going to be the tether of those vines coming out here. It is going to catch a singular member, but it's more than enough. In comes the package to section off that fight and deny it to only one. Pace get the one that they need, though, as jungler goes down. Dragon is pinged.
Yeah, and we mentioned that things were actually going well for SCC in the first few minutes of game. They were doing good rotations, bot lane was doing well, and then Renekton just came through. Now the team is around 4,000 gold ahead, and things are relying heavily on that top laner. It could convert some of that pressure, so well done by Pace to get this decision going before they try to engage on any of those team fights. They go 1 kill, 2 kills, but now they are going to contest it back.
I mean, they took quite a while, and now it's going to be challenged, but that Baron, the Dragon has to go down. You are able to smite it, but how many kills can you get afterwards? Actually going to leave. That unfortunate Soko Dino is now fallen. Because of that, it's a 5-on-3. I don't think you want to be here. Gojo was able to come back, but John has to be left to the dust, and Gojo and BNZ both had to run away. I'm not sure what SCC were attempting to do there. I get it. I know you want to help, but that was not the time or place. Pace now hightailing it to clear out mid lane.
Oh, it was close, to be fair. I think they had a good choice to try to steal. Didn't quite make the 50-50 on the smite. Then Kadito...
Well, hold on. Gojo was dead, right? There wouldn't have been a 50-50.
Oh, they were dead? No, that makes no sense then. Especially exposing Kadito like that. Oh, I get what it is now. That was definitely a misplay. There's no way you can try to contest anything. You don't have a Kalista. You don't have, I don't know, anything that can try to rival a smite, a Cho'Gath, and nothing of the sort. So not really any reason to try and go for that. So thanks for the shout out.
Yeah, this is going to be a challenge. Right now, though, ECA on the far side is a whole other story, right? 3-1-2, a much better time than games 1 or 2. Keep in mind, ECA was one that we said was a little bit of a troublesome moment, right? Not exactly bad on the TF at all, but it didn't have the impact that we were hoping for. This time around, 3-1-2 has been able to pump out a decent amount of damage. 2 items in, already hitting that power spike, if you will. 3rd item really put him over the edge. On the same note, Codito has not had that explosive raw power that we normally see out of them. They've had emphasis in games 1 and 2. This time 1-2, the walls were okay in the early game, but mid to late hasn't had that damage output, which granted on a Taliyah, that's not why you always have it, but it just doesn't feel like the same oomph from the earlier games.
It really isn't, and comparing to early games as well, the Lucian army tried to have that pressure, was successfully stalled by SCC, but SCC couldn't really convert that into that much of a lead at this point. Now XXZ has the opportunity to go for the side lane pushes, while the team is looking very interested in the area around the Baron pit, as they should. Now getting to 22 minutes in the game and still around shy of 3 minutes for the next Drake and your soul point to spawn. So this is very crucial for St. Clair's Academy to try and deny any of these lanes. But things are just very well distributed by all sides. ECA pushing, then there's Comeback pushing, and XXZ. Every lane is covered.
Yeah, you can kind of see it in the goal there too, right? This spread is not terrible. It's 5k lead for Pace, and they're really enjoying their comfort. Not only that, this early game composition is starting to lean more into their mid strengths. It's not OP, don't get me wrong, but if you add a Hextech Soul on top of that, you get the slows, you get the extra ability haste, and the raw attack speed. And all of a sudden, this team can really start to kite you around, be an annoyance, be a pain in the butt. So with the allocation of resources into the side lanes and keeping your carries safe and leaving X on their own to secure a 50 CS lead, 2.5 items up, I do agree. Pace are putting themselves in solid position as long as they don't step out of bounds.
Yeah, and they are getting dangerously close to this Baron area. Not really going for much in regards to aggressiveness. As you said, they know they have to be careful, and they are doing so. There's a TP available for Pace's top laner, so this is definitely a great call. Codito too can defend safely because of having that TP available. Now, St. Clair Saints Academy could get some breaches here and there with those objective bounties, trying to get the tier 1 on the side lanes. but they're not really finding much place to get the gold back. It's Akaisa sitting on 2 items, while 3 items were completed there by comeback on the Lucian. Around 2,000 gold ahead in that bot lane, so things are not looking great for SCC. And to be fair, Pace is shutting down a breach for SCC to try to get that pressure back.
Yeah, on the flip side though, for the side of St. Clair Academy, they do have a pretty decent scaling team, right? The Sejuani's still going to be a monster to kind of deal with. It's going to be super tanky. The Nautilus is going to be good. And we've seen what BNZ can do, right? Yes, it may have been bolstered with some free kills in Game 2, but the challenge, what a massive fight here, though, between the 2 ADCs. You see the exchange causing some problems here as both kept quite low. Difference being BNZ, not allowed to heal up. You burn the heal and everything. But that's going to leave this Dragon expose. What a possible great outcome here. This is just soul for Pace again.
Wow, and it's such a quick one at that. 25 minutes on the clock immediately, and as we mentioned, Solidary's skill is the one to take down that tier 1 to try to get some breathing room for St. Clair Saints Academy on those objective bounties. But a team fight is what Pace wants, especially with that soul just taken into their pockets.
Yeah, and I was talking about St. Clair Saints Academy having a way to kind of come back in. It was if they kind of scaled out the game. If they waited a little bit longer, maybe they could get some scaling in. However, that would take like 45 minutes at this rate. Now it's about 60. You can't really contest with the soul. However, if you get this pick, maybe you can look at a Baron that is going to be X trying to go in the middle, sustaining for a really, really long time. Still not dead. The heals are going to come up, and you're still out. The flash, though. Solitary says no. You will die on the back end, though. Lee Sin trying to get Codito. Codito's not going to find it. And St. Clair Saints Academy are able to watch the fight. In comes the Lucian, but I mean, what can you really do? You don't have any more bursts out of there. And it's going to be the hit because ECA was nowhere close. Most of the damage from Pace was not there. And St. Clair Saints Academy, again, win a fight they had no reason to be winning.
And on the back of an ambush, there was no vision there by Access Z, and they tried to go on that bush. Nothing they could do against 5 people. They got obliterated. Even the Nami couldn't kill enough. Ika, you're gonna get caught up. You're on top of a ward.
I mean, at this point, you're just trying to run interference. Gojo was taking quite low, and maybe they can help out, but it's an easy shove, and you're done. That's going to be a delayed ace and a Baron. St. Clair Saints Academy say, screw Dragon Soul. We'll just take your lives.
Yeah, we will. And on top of having those 6 Void Mites and having guaranteed all of the objectives on the top side, including that Herald, they are looking at least with a little bit of confidence to try and take the game now. Oh my god. I thought Pace could take a team fight so easily, and they didn't really nail it down because SCC just read their hand prior to any play coming out from Pace.
I mean, I'm left a little bit flabbergasted. There are points where I sit here and say there are differences, there are moments, but Pace has continuously walked into some situations that I'm just surprised that they are taking, and both teams are honestly doing it. It feels worse on the side of Pace, right? They're the competition that really has to get wins on the board if they want their game to kind of escape. Now, granted, they can still fall back on this soul if they so wish. It's not an impossible moment, but it just feels bad that that's kind of their win con, right? These fights are not breaking out their way. They need to group up as best as possible, and we just got to keep track, right? Our Pace together is ECA with them, and is ECA even pretty well fed? Is that going to be the difference? SCC Academy, they literally are just like, wait for our moment. At this point, Pace has shown that they will make mistakes. We just have to wait for those mistakes to occur.
Yeah, and SCC have that pressure here on the bottom side with Baron buff Orbital. This is a tier 1 taken, and it could even split that push, having Solidary skill go towards the mid lane. But they are, I don't know, maybe a little cautious, maybe a little afraid on how to perform this push here. But it's just so important that with the Baron buff that you get any sort of pressure on Siege. Thus far, not really paying off as much.
It's just, the payoff is not there. Right now, Lisa making a little bit of desperate call. You do grab one of the Taken's members, and you're taking quite low, so I'm not sure this is what you want. The wave comes across all of them. TPM from ECA, and yes, they get one, but it's a trade out of jungle on top. X has to run away, though. Disconnected, drawn right back into the fight. You are not allowed to lead when you enter the ring. Massive heal coming out from that kill, and SCC say you are ours. The Coling doing peanuts to Gojo's back as Pace say you'll take 2, but nothing more. What more can be taken from the Academy squad?
Okay, that's still killer instinct if BNZ wanted to get that, but they're just getting the snipes down. And I cannot believe that St. Clair Saints Academy got that fight going to their advantage, because things were looking kind of good for Pace because they initiated the fight, but then there was no space for comeback to try and get damage on the B and Lucian, and even ECAC wasn't really getting those rockets dealing as much damage as you want them to be doing at this point in the game, getting to 30 minutes on the clock. But for Pace, at least, it's a very much denied Baron push on SEC. They only took a tier 1.
I'm very, very scared here, Sochet. I'm scared the entire time because on paper, Pace have everything to win what they need, right? They got some of the towers, they got the soul, and maybe they can even get Elder. The composition might not be in their favor, but still, it looks good. However, this can occur. Consistently, Pace are wandering in without backup, and it gets scary. This is one of the few times they're not punished for it. Meanwhile, on the other side, though, ECAC gets a solo kill. Okay, I guess things are just breaking away way faster than they probably want, and now out comes the Roosely Sin saying we want a major carry. Codito flashing away just outside of range of the Coling, but now it's come, and that's going to be the kill. Codito now the one to fall in the way of BNZ. Meanwhile, all this time, X is pushing on the top side, a 2-pronged attack. Pace working off the mistake of St. Clair Saints Academy are going to gather much needed gold from global objectives.
That's something that we've seen consistently from Pace. When they can get a breach to take your base, they will take it. Now tier 3 down mid lane, Inhibitor coming next. And I think most of that team fight was played on the back of that Nature's Grasp, just isolating 3 players from St. Clair Saints Academy and guaranteeing that comeback could get the shutdown. Oh my god. Pace, things were looking kind of good for St. Clair Saints Academy, but you said it, Orbital, they had the objectives and they're looking to get the Elder as well.
This is going to be dangerous. Considering how these last fights have gone, I'm actually really scared about this. ECAC does have the package. This is going to be the first time we actually seen Pace group up and without someone randomly dying on the side. I'm actually really, really curious about this. Take a look at where BNZ is. BNZ is on the top side, split away from the rest of the team. Codito trying to wander the way in. A couple little shots. That's the wall, but caught out. And now you're in danger. Codito's just dead. If he's a witch, that's a seal! The seal works! Gojo wins it out! Now they can slaughter the rest of Pace after a team fight win from Pace. SCC, bite freaking back. Are you freaking kidding me? That was a seal of the ages. Gojo with the stand says, get out of my face. Domain expansion, no matter what, we own this side of the rift. That's the rest of Pace running for their life. How much can the Academy squad get?
Oh, and SEC want to take this down. There's the push. Completely going over on his tier 2, but they're going for a reset. Oh no, SCC, after such a push, you gotta come back to defend your base. Your inhibitor was taken, and super minions could destroy your inner turrets if you allow that to happen. So SEC got that handled, and oh my god, on the back of a stunning 50-50 from Gojo Orbital, that was huge for SEC.
I mean, you get the soul. Great, that's temporary. Now you need a little bit more. Elder Dragon's gonna help you out here. Baron is looking strong. And they're just gonna run in. Lee Sin, I'm not sure that you want to frontline. You are the only way to actually get this Baron. They're gonna fight though. Baron is spinning on everyone. And X goes right to the back line. No way! Pace are actually on the loss! They don't have everyone! They're now dead themselves! Pace are now running for their freaking lives. And they are gonna be so destructive. I can't believe what is currently going down here. Pace have just reinvigorated themselves. St. Clair Saints Academy are looking to be on the run.
Yeah, they are confident. They've taken the Baron, and aside from what we saw from SCC's almost failed Baron push, no, they are not going to fail this one. 2 Nexus turrets still standing, 2 inhibitors still standing, but they can take this all down in one single push.
I mean, they're going to give it the best shot. Who is actually going to win it out? But at this point, it's a 50-50 on everyone. Solitaire going to try and go in. That's going to be a good Glacial Prison, but how much are they going to get? Right in the back line, they kill Codito again. It is going to be the slaughter, but the Elder Dragon is still up. The Elder Dragon is still alive! Because of that, the executions are coming through! So, Chan, what is going on here? Are you sure we're not watching CBLOL? That's an ace for St. Clair Saints Academy!
This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. I had absolutely no clue that the Elder Drake was still there. The buff was enough to finish them off, and a TP coming from Solidary Skill going to the top side orbital. This is a back and forth as much as I've ever seen one, and St. Clair Saints Academy could be turning this around on its head.
All I can say is welcome to the Super Elite. This is what we have right now. Pace trying to fight their way out. And I mean, it's just not working. Solitaire. And this is honestly, we're getting down to compositional differences, right? Pace's timing is starting to run out. There are composition that relies on early and mid. St. Clair Saints Academy, they're a composition that rules in the late game. They have stronger power. They scale quite a bit better. But the mix-up, of that Hextech Soul and then the Elder and then the Baron, everything coalescing in absolute disaster on both ends. However, at the end here, I think St. Clair Saints Academy do come out a little bit better in this situation. They were able to break away that topside inhibitor, and that matches the mid lane inhibitor that is currently down.
And after all that action, it feels like we're on a stalemate once again. The stalemate right now is Elder and Baron were taken. The buffs are gone. A lot of shielding on Solidary Skill that can escape the push here from Comeback, but he could be looking to get another one.
No.
Maybe just one more rocket, but the max range is not enough. Oh, what a dodge.
Oh, but that's it. Oh my god, you live Solitaire!
Christ!
Got away just out of the nature scrap. Are you kidding me? That route would have been at least Sin trying to chase for that kill, but that's what this is, a game of inches at this point. Pace and SCC Academy are just trying not to give that inch over. We are 1 minute and 40 seconds away from Elder. Again, by the way, I can't tell you how long it's been since I've seen 2 Elder Dragons in one game.
No, that's unprecedented. Oh my god, this is this is a whole different experience. And as you said, shy of 1 minute on the clock, who is going to get that Elder? Because considering how they are positioning and stancing right now, they are looking to only clear the waves on the safe side of the map, not really expose themselves too much because they want to have control over the Drake. But now SCC actually proving me wrong. Maybe trying to get an ambush positioning for themselves.
Oh, it's another catch. This is not how this ends. This cannot be how this ends. Lee Sin is out. Lee Sin is safe. Now can they turn it around? Coling doing massive work, but Solitaire gets over the wall. They are still missing one. Take a look. Renekton's not there. Are they going to win? No, because BNZ dies in the back line. Killer Instinct is going to work, and it looks like St. Clair Saints Academy might have done it. The Elder Dragon helped, saving their base. Now no Elder Dragon to save Pace. Clears me. Ace the side of Pace Gold and look to win this series.
Yeah, and this is a Game 3 win, 2-1 for St. Clair Saints Academy. All players on pace on at least 30 seconds to go. That is more than enough, especially when your team has already taken six Void Grubs. And now your team is going for the win after such a battled, intense League of Legends match in a Game 3 best-of-3 orbital.
It's done. It's over. The 38-minute bangers are done. Pace lose to St. Clair Saints Academy, who keep their playoff hopes alive.
Oh my word. And with that, we have a standings looking like Pace Low Gold on 3 and 2. And St. Clair Saints Academy on 2 and 3. Now, depending on how Fisher College and GWU Revolutionaries do in this week, that could mean St. Clair Saints getting up to top 4 or even dropping down Pace Low Gold. We'll see how things are going to go for the rest of the Super Elite matches. But Orbital, what even was this? We were excited, but what was this?
I don't know, but it was glorious, and I could not ask for a better series to be played here on the super elite side of the division. You talked about it. The standings are now shaken up, and we'll see how it plays out. Of course, we have driven the Herald across this entire series, but what about off of the Rift here? We do have more ECAC action, or even just collegiate action in general, as we're going to actually have Rocket League, the Big Sky Conference Rocket League qualifiers will be on tomorrow, starting at 12 p.m. PST. Make sure to tune in there for Rocket League action, of course, from myself, as well as Sofchan here on the desk, as well as our production, Samantha and Colton running the show behind us. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you all tomorrow.